Shout out to US ARC and all US ARC members. If you don't know what US ARC is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what US ARC is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a US ARC member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with US ARC organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a US ARC member. And if you can't become a US ARC member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what US ARC is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every US ARC member and US ARC supporter out there.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world. Episode 660. Wow, what a number. I'm your boy MJ. Welcome to On the Tree Tuesday. With me, Marshall Mendez, a.k.a. haven't sold a chondro since 1997.
What's up?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Doing great, man. Good to be back. This feels like it's been a minute.
You want to know what else is just as great? Is your audio. Fuck. I love it. My man. Are you sick of my shit yet or no? I'm just curious.
I mean, I've been sick of your shit, but it's okay. Like, what am I going to do about it?
I feel like there's some truth to that. You're kind of fucked, you know? It's like, oh my God. All because I love fish now. We're like, but you can't get rid of me. You're here for life, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Dude.
Stuck together.
Happy Tuesday.
Right.
You were missed last week, right? Because you weren't here last week and Bill was, and now Bill's not here this week. Is that right?
Yeah.
Bill's
Last week, I think it was like pre-recorded, and I had something come up for work.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's cool. So we missed Bill this week.
How's it going with all the babies?
Good. Finally put the first 3 clutches away. So I have 36 babies put away, and they look good, man. You know, I'm spraying them twice a day and just fucking ready to go to war here soon.
Any sheds yet?
No, not yet. There's some deep purple action happening right now. So I would say probably the next couple days or so, you know, getting ready.
Sweet.
I'm on the fence.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not really on the fence. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go the gizzard route, but I don't know. I don't know if I should at least try pinks first. I don't know. I don't know.
Mix it up.
I know. I think I might do a little bit of both. I just kind of want to see how they respond to the gizzard first. Bill, he's fucking standing by at 110%, and so I don't know. We'll see day by day.
Yeah.
What about with you?
Pretty much, man. Status quo around here. Nothing new. Babies are doing pretty good. Albino's doing good. I tried to post. Well, I did post a video of him the other day, or her, or whatever it is.
Oh my God, bro! Your filters have been out of control lately,
dude.
I kind of gave you the heads up. Yeah, you can, because I gave you a heads up on the emerald tree boa, and you're like, nah, dude, this is the natural. I'm like,
no. All I was doing is the same thing that I've always done: is take a video with my phone and upload it. Like all the settings, it's nothing that I'm doing. So
I know you're not doing it, but Instagram does tweak out, and that's what clearly happened because you didn't discover a new fucking goddamn highlighter morph or something. Like that's clearly not what the snake looks like. Okay, did you leave that up, by the way? Or did you take it down?
Fuck yeah, it's got a shitload of views.
Yeah, leave it. You're like, finally. Dude, I don't know. I've always been so upset about like what Instagram has done to my stuff without me personally doing it. So it's not like you said, it's not you not knowing. It's just it's weird how Instagram can do that because sometimes. But I mean, you figure it out.
It's weird how like the green snakes, it just kind of amps up the blues and the yellows, and then but the albino though, man, it turned that thing like I don't even know what color it was. Like it's like a purple. Yeah, purple pink. It's I don't know. It was I don't know why it started doing it. Started doing it I guess about a week ago.
But I will say, I will say, Marshall, the one that with the emerald, the one that I've seen, that does that snake more justice than the other original. Like that's how that. Snake
it's not that far off.
It's really not, dude. I'm just gonna show this snake.
But that snake's only green and white too. I don't even know if she's got yellow. A little bit of yellow. Yeah, I mean that's it's not too far off.
But it's not far off at all, but there's definitely a filter on this video right here. It's just not, the thing is, it's not unrealistic because I've seen this snake in person and this is how it should really look. But then Instagram just went berserko after this. Like, after this, it fucked with you after.
Yeah. Pull up the albino one. It's insane.
You guys ready for this? This is why you should join the Chondro game. Dude, Steven sent me this. He's like, he needs to be stopped. I was like, holy shit. Oh my God. Anyways, hey, listen, Ryan Young, Christopher tonight. I'm excited. When was the last time?
Pumped.
When was the last time we've had? I don't know. I think we have had both of them on the same show. I think we have, right?
Maybe we've had both of them on once. Yeah. I can't really remember. But yeah, I'm pumped, man. Got all stars tonight.
Definitely. We're going to cover some amazing topics tonight, guys. So be ready. Get the likes up first and foremost. And also hit that subscribe button. Just to remind you guys, you can listen to every single new episode under the Trap Talk Reptile Network Monday through Sunday. Okay. You can also hear all these episodes on all the major audio platforms. There's Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to any of these episodes. Thank you so much. If you're looking for exclusive content, you want to get more out of what you see out of each episode, come join the Trap Talk Patreon family. You can simply do that by clicking the very first link in the description below. As soon as you join the Patreon family, connect to the Discord, and there's a Instagram group chat that is 24/7 popping. So Patreon members, you guys are my heart, man. Appreciate all the love and support. You guys are amazing. Tonight's episode is brought to you by SUNDOWN Reptiles. If you're looking to get into tree monitors, kahua, next level gecko species, man, I'm telling you right now, do not sleep on SUNDOWN Reptiles. Check him out tonight. Okay, go to his website, see what he has available. He's going to be vending at Daytona and at the Southeast Reptile Expo. Okay, so thank you so much, Brian Susan from SUNDOWN Reptiles. Also, tonight's episode is brought to you by Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. So if you're looking for some next level YouTube content when it comes to learning about arboreal species in the hobby, make sure you go check out GS Reptiles on YouTube. Gary is one of the best doing it. Proud to call him one of our good friends. And thank you so much, Gary, for your support. Again, GS Reptiles on YouTube, and follow him on Instagram. And if you're having a boreal snake, make sure you're putting it on a perch designed by David Brahms over at the Reptile Perch. Go to thereptileperch.com. See what size perches fits best for your boreal snakes. Anywhere from the tubs to decked out enclosures, David Brahms has you covered, and also has amazing top quality designer green tree pythons. And he has pure monocory stuff as well, I believe. Yeah, my buddy Juan Farfan. Shout out to him. He has a pure monocory from David Brahms. So go to David Brahms' Instagram, the Reptile Perch on IG as well, to see all of David's pairings. And again, go to his website, thereptileperch.com. Also, tonight's episode is brought to you by Texas Chondros, Mark Hager, the king of yellow neonates. And I feel like he deserves that name because he has the best yellow neonates in the United States, in my opinion. And check him out yourself. TX Chondros on Instagram, and go to his website, texaschondros.com. One thing about Mark, as amazing as yellow neonates are, I have one of his red neonates that has some very potent calico bloodline in it. And this snake sired the last two clutches that I have cooking. They're literally one's on day 47, the other's on day 41. So shit's about to hit the fan again over here, all because of this man. And I cannot wait to see what this calico blood is going to look like in the, a lot of reds. All right. Anyways, thank you so much, Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. Again, TX Chondros on IG. Go give him a follow. Thank you so much. And Marshall, you ready to bring on the boys or what? I'm looking forward to getting to this conversation.
I'm ready, man. Let's do it.
Appreciate all the love and support in the chat. You guys know where to be tonight. The real ones are here. Coach Rice, Ryan Young, On the Tree Tuesdays, Do what you gotta do to get your mind right. Do what you gotta do to stay hydrated. Episode 660 coming at you right now. Let's go. Cheers.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man,
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Tell 'em.
exclusive. Oh,
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crowd, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
and we're live, episode 660. Welcome back, Coach Rice, Ryan Young, my dog,
Yo, what up, y'all?
sick ass trap.
Hey,
Hey, did you see his shirt, Marshall? See how he's representing?
I did.
I never got my shit.
What the fuck? I sent your shit. I gotta check the tracking on that.
Yeah, I never got it.
Fucking Florida.
Marshall, when,
Yeah.
when are you gonna represent, Marshall? Look, he's frozen.
When what?
He's
What are you-
icing you out.
When what?
When are you gonna rock one of your Trap Fest shirts and represent?
Well, I wanted to wear this one first because my daughter is going to take it over. She wants she likes Carly's shirt better than yours, so I wanted to wear this one. I'll wear Trap Fest.
You know
next
what?
time.
I'm so sorry. I just realized you're wearing Carly's shirt right now, and I have one of those shirts. Probably one of the most comfortable shirts I've ever worn. And I like that
It's
color.
nice.
Yeah, I take it back.
Yeah,
You're wearing the right.
she
You're wearing the right
knocked it
shirt.
out of the park with these.
Yeah. Take it back. Everything I just said. Fuck my Trap Fest shirt. That's a sick shirt. But what's going on, guys? Welcome back, Ryan, Coach Rice. Thanks for being here, Ryan. How's it shaking, buddy? We're let's see. We're in the thick of summer, I would say. Where are you at with your breeding? Are you happy with where things are headed this year? Let's catch up.
Yeah, it's been okay. I think I've got maybe 2 clutches left, and then possibly some emeralds later in the fall. So we'll see. Some Amazons too, maybe.
So,
Nice.
do you bred scrubs this year?
Yeah, they're hatching right now today.
Nice. What are they?
Wamina Jaya type, the northern stuff.
Okay. Tight.
Yeah. So I produced the parents a few years ago, and so these are nice F2s.
Would you say the
What's the
opposite?
species count this year?
If the rock pythons hatch, I'll get to add 1 species this year. So we'll see.
Rock pythons? I didn't even know you had rock pythons, bro. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
Those are dope, man.
I got eggs cooking right now. So
Rock pythons terrify me, dude. Like they fucking. I've seen some terrifying rock pythons before. They're not.
the funny thing is, I had my daughter wanted to come see the snake with her eggs, and I don't know if you've messed with rock pythons much, but they're really vocal. They're like
Yeah.
a puff adder. They make a lot of noise. And she came in there, and that thing just let out this hiss, and she's like, "Nope, fuck that." She bounced.
Dude,
And it never tried to bite. I took the eggs from her. She never bit, never nothing. But man, she made a lot of noise.
I had one when I was younger, and I don't remember it ever actually biting. It kind of it just bluffs, right, for the most part.
Yeah, they
Just kinda
make a
puffs and
lot.
bluffs.
Like I said, they make a hell of a noise. But these 2 haven't ever tried to bite me. So
Yeah.
I was
Not
expecting
big.
to get bit pulling the eggs, but she was still totally chill.
Nice.
You just
I
have
have
to.
one
how many-
story with one of those when I was younger. The one I had, I let my cousin handle it. She's like, she wanted to handle the snake. So I was like, oh yeah, take this one. It's pretty calm overall, and it was. And I think she was like 6 or 7 or whatever, and she had overalls on at the time, and she was handling the snake, and then I hear her just being like, and the snake was just pissing all down, just totally soaking all down. And I'm like, I can't stop it at this point. It's got to just finish. So I felt bad.
Yeah.
Kind of worse than a bite, honestly.
Oh my, that's
Oh yeah.
nasty. So
Back in the pre 9/11 days, I was bringing an olive python with me on a plane from Dallas to Connecticut, and I put it in a pillowcase and just stuck it in my shirt. And like I was on the plane for 10 minutes, and the thing took a dump in the bag.
Oh god, terrible.
Oh man, I had a rosy bow in my pocket, and it started pushing on the fat lady next to me in the airplane. And she kind of looks at me, and I gave her this funny wink, like, you know, and then I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom so I could move it to the other side.
she gave you a wink. Why would she wink at you?
I don't know what she thought it was, but
Yeah, she thought it was something else. That's for sure.
She's like, "Oh, you want me to help you?" She's like, "You want me to help you clean that up?"
it started pressing against her legs so hard, I was like, oh shit.
My God. Wait, so Chris, have you taken a snake on a plane before or no?
No,
Like
no, not done that.
Yeah.
No.
All right, cool. So you're not in that club either. I feel left out when these guys talk about stories like that. I'm like, dude, imagine, like putting a snake in your pocket, and just going on the plane, and just just nobody needs to know anything.
Yeah, you can't do it now. I mean,
Oh,
first
fuck.
Daytona, I brought 2 baby chondros in deli cups in my pocket from Eugene.
Yeah,
Yeah, everything was so different pre 9/11 as far as going on a plane.
everything's different. Yeah,
Yeah,
Life
no,
was-
my buddy flew from Arizona to California with a bunch of toads in his luggage, and they totally like scanned his bag, and you could see the little skeletons hopping around.
They didn't
And the
care
lady
at all.
just kind of shook her head and just like, go ahead.
Probably
Just
just
didn't
doesn't want to.
care.
Just like I don't even want to touch or deal with any of this crap. Just go right through.
Yeah.
Hey Ryan, real quick, what would you say the highlight's going to be this year for your breeding? I mean, would you say if the African rock pythons work out, that would be it, or do you have something else that's like kind of standing out highlight wise for you this year?
I guess it just depends. Yeah, overall, anytime I breed something new, that's pretty exciting for me. But hatching baby turtles would be cool if I get some more of those. And then I was pretty tickled to get some of the Manichoride babies I ended up with, since I produced all their
I was
pendants.
say the yellow Manichores.
You got red ones.
Hell
too.
yeah, I've got some red ones too.
Yeah, you got some nasty red ones. Oh, by the way, I'm
So
ready
I'll
to get
be-
one. I know you asked me a while ago. I need one of those. Can we go back to that, please?
All right.
You getting a yellow one or you getting a red one?
Fuck you, Chris. What's the problem, dude? What's wrong with you?
You're still on that train. No, 0 yellows, right? You're giving away the ones you've produced
I'm not giving. I mean, I'm keeping
or selling them. Right? I can't remember what
my
you're doing.
favorite. I'm keeping my favorite, and which that's out of the designer outcross one. And I'm giving the other 2 away to 2 lucky Patreon members.
Nice.
So, anyways, let's get to you, Chris. What's going on? You were talking about a late season. Is that something new to you? Like having stuff go this late?
Yeah, it's later than I've had so far. So it was a little nerve wracking at first. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Nothing's really taken. But I've had 2 females ovulate, and then I've one that I don't think she ovulated. She just went into a shed cycle. So I'm gonna have to check back my video clips and pictures and see if maybe I just miscalculated and she, blew up bigger than I expected. But I don't really see it behavior wise from her. So this will be interesting. She's been following all the usual patterns. She's had a litter in 2023. Everything looked like it was going in the regular directions, but she hasn't refused food yet, and then she just entered a shed cycle. So I don't know if she's gonna take or not, or if she does ovulate, I would think it would be fairly soon, and then I'd be surprised if she has a post-ovulation shed, right back to back like that. But that'd be a first for me. And then I've got 2 other females that I've got 4 females that have been paired in total, and then 1 more, or no, 5 I think in total, and then 1 more I'm thinking about pairing. But honestly, she's a pretty damn aggressive anaconda face female, to where I kind of feel sorry for whatever male I might put in with her, because I don't know how she's gonna act.
First time girl. She hasn't gone for you before.
Yeah, she's never gone. I've never paired her, And if she does, I'm like legitimately kind of concerned for the male just because she is extremely high strung.
So what? How many
Just one of
ovulations?
those animals. It's not tameable.
How many for sure ovulations have you had this year?
Just 2 so far. Just 2 guaranteed so far, and then 2 more that look likely. And if all of them, if I pair everybody and they all win, it would be 6 total.
You had
But
4 last year. You had 4
No, I
last
had
year.
3 last year.
3 last year, and 3,
Yeah,
and then
3.
3 the year before, or
3,
how many-
3 litters the year before, but 2 of them were not really spectacular. One was totally bust, and the other one was not that great, and then the other one was pretty much perfect.
Got it.
And then last year was killer. Last year was like all 3 of them. There was almost perfect
Yeah,
between all 3 of them.
Killed it last year.
So Ryan, for the amount of years you've been doing it, obviously you too, Marshall, you guys have been doing this for fucking so long. I mean, have you guys seen shifts in your seasons before? Like, meaning females that normally go a certain time of year go a way different time than the following year? And if so, do they go back to the year they were going before? I'm just wondering, like, how much shifting goes on with this? Like, does it continue to go further down and just loop all the way back around? What's been your guys' experience? Where everyone's go.
I've had it every which way. I've had snakes go so late they were early is my joke. And then I've had snakes usually back to back. They go fairly consistently. If they take years off, then things can change. My season, I usually have stuff starting to ovulate in as early as January, but this year I didn't have nearly as much of that. So I don't know if it was because I was gone for a couple weeks. I don't know if that mattered or what, but
I don't know if it's anecdotal, but it seems like a lot of people have had everything going a little bit late this year.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've had it. I cycle from the exact day. I always do every year, no matter what. And some years the snakes are dialed in, ready to go before I even start cycling. And other years it seems like they don't do anything until things start warming up. So I don't know. Just they're gonna do what they're gonna do. No sense in worrying about it.
Marshall, and that you do the exact same. No, actually, no. You did things differently last year. You food cycle a way different time of the year than you normally did, and that's what you're going to do again.
I've never
this
done
year.
it before.
Right, and you're doing the same thing.
I think this year I'm going to kind of split it up. I'm going to do 2 females the way I did last year. Then I'm going to do 2 or 3 the way Bill does it. Wait to food cycle them a little bit later, like once it starts cooling off a little bit. Because this year I was really early. I mean, I've never had clutches laid in December, I don't think. And this year, both of them were laid prior to the end of the year of 24.
Yeah.
And then I also had, the ball pythons. I track them like I write it on the tub. So I'm always looking at those, and they're pretty consistent, usually within like a month. Although I did have one this year that bred like crazy. Never. I thought I kind of gave up on her. I thought she just didn't take, or I missed the window or whatever. And she normally lays in August, ended up laying in January. So that was kind of weird. That's the first time that's really ever happened. She's laid, I want to say the last 3, she might have had a year off, but 2 years maybe back to back, a year off. And then this year, shit, it might've been 3 years in a row. And this year was just off. So who knows?
Yeah. So, and then with you, Chris, is there a cutoff point where you're just not going to pair any females at all if there's not something happening at a certain point? Like, what? In other words, you have a season in a sense, or not?
Yeah, I try to generally, but I'm already going later than I normally would. I normally would have just stopped by basically July, because I think in prior years the latest ovulations I had was in June. Or maybe July, I can't remember, but it was like, there was a way more activity earlier on. Usually I'd have everything kicking in, the heavy breeding activity would be like end of January, basically, right around that point. But there was a few that wasn't really a whole lot going on until more like March. And then I just paired another female that I've never started pairing this late. And it's looking promising because they were locked up for 3 nights in a row as soon as I put them in there. So I wasn't even planning on necessarily pairing her, but she was looking thick and doing all the usual stuff you'd want to see. She's kind of laying funny, and and looking, had that look to her. So I'm like, well, let me put a male in with her and see what she does. And yeah, 3 nights in a row of locks, and they seem to be pretty active. So if she goes, if she goes, I don't know when it'll be exactly, but that will almost certainly be the last or the latest I've ever had.
Yeah, I want to ask all your guys' opinion on this, because if somebody were to ask me, like, hey, like, when should I remove the male from the female, or should I leave them in together until something happens? I much rather let them know there's a time and place that they're going to see each other versus them kind of getting complacent. Because I remember back when I haven't seen action with males and females, man, their months have gone by and they never fucking once touch each other. You know what I'm saying? And then I feel like it gets to the point where they're just so used to each other. Maybe they're not even turned on by each other. I don't know. But I feel like that whole break is important. Because I feel like I've been told that's important with tree monitors. I've heard people get zero action with tree monitors and they're cohabitating the male and female. And then, versus like, don't put that male in there unless that female's cycling type of thing. I don't know. What do you think, Ryan? Do you have a cutoff point where you remove the male if there's no action at a certain point?
I guess I wouldn't say there's like a cutoff point. If I cycle my temperatures at the exact same time every year, but I don't stop breeding stuff until they stop breeding. If they're showing interest in each other and they're doing stuff, I'll keep on keeping on all through the summer. If they still want to do stuff, then I'll let them keep doing it. If they show, it's usually pretty obvious if the male just starts sitting on the other side of the cage and shows no interest, you can pretty well get a sense for it's over, But as far as having a date, no, I base it all behaviorally.
Yeah, same here.
And so with you, Marshall, is it going to change with as far as like, timing with your pairing, or are you just going to just pair as you see things that need to be paired? What's going to be your overall go-to?
I'll probably just pair everything up at the same time, regardless, and just see what happens. And then, if the ones that haven't been food cycled don't show any interest, I'll pull the male and try again after I do that, after a couple months. So just kind of trial and error on that for me right now.
So to that topic, food cycling, right, guys? Like if you're obviously hitting a female at a certain point and then nothing happens, do you hit them with another cycle again, or do you just go back to normal feeding?
Are you talking temp cycle or food cycle?
Food with the food, because I feel like the temps happens on its own, right? Like that's naturally going to occur. But you were saying, Ryan, if they're still going at it in the summer and you food cycle them in January or something, you hit them with another cycle again at a certain point if they're still breeding, or?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'll base it on her behavior. If I walk in if we're talking chondros specifically, if I walk in the room and she's like smashing her face against the glass, like that, desperate to eat, then I'll bump her food up, or I'll give her something bigger than I normally would, or I'll try something to trigger an ovulation if I feel like that's where we're at. But otherwise, you just keep on what you're doing and hope it works out, or, they're either going to go or they're not. A lot of it's not as magical. I wish there was like if you do this on this day, it'll work. That unfortunately is not how breeding snakes typically goes.
No, but I will say what is close to magical is like what you said. Like they do give you signs, like them acting extra hungry. Like if you know when to hit them at a certain point, that does become almost the magic trick in a sense. Not always, but like, they act different. Like you said, I'm glad you brought behavior, because, you could go off a schedule, you could go off the weather all you want, but you're really looking on how that snake's acting to determine like what to do, when to pair, when to fucking hit them with certain amounts of food, all that stuff.
Yeah, like Chris can probably speak to this more than me. I don't have a ton of emerald breeding experience, but they seem to really be like, if you give them the right big meal at the right time, you can get them to go.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. It kind of seems like you're basically watching their behavior and then trying to kind of influence and encourage it a little bit. It's still ultimately they're going to do what they're going to do, but you can kind of nudge them in the right direction. So if they're showing you signs that she's wanting food, keep hitting her with food. You got to, with emeralds, it's tricky because if you overdo it, then you're going to end up with just a big, slob that's not going to move if you you know, because they can get overweight pretty easily. But you want to hit them with enough food to where it gets things going and seems to influence her to be more likely to ovulate. I haven't done as much of the like singular big meal that seals the deal thing, but definitely more food at the right time, you know, will tend to push them over the edge.
So I had back-to-back year success thanks to Warren Booth. Shout out to you, Warren. Giving them the exact amount of smaller meals and then hitting them with that perfect bigger than normal meal. And it's always been that one bigger than normal meal that they don't want to eat after that, and then all of a sudden something happens. That's happened 2 years in a row for me. Not with the same snake, but like for me to believe, okay, I'm in on this whole like hit him at the right time. And mind you, while this was happening, she was getting locked. Like she was getting slammed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you time it perfectly with all that stuff,
yeah,
you know, and if nothing would have happened, I would have probably I would wait till March or something to where like, all right, clearly nothing's gonna happen, and then reset and try it again next year. That's gonna be my take with the emeralds.
What I'm curious about is with it. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, sorry. With the emeralds, because they don't, you know, they're not as active. I'll feed them the normal meals. I don't feed as big a meals probably as like Booth does, but I'll feed them their normal meal. But instead of like every several weeks, I'll give it to them more often. And then if they go to the bathroom and then they still look like, you can tell because they're cleaned out and they've got that big, and they're kind of sitting sideways, like big follicle development. And that's when I'll go, okay, now it's time to give them, instead of like a small wean, to give them like a medium rat, you know, something substantially larger than they're used to getting. And typically after that, they'll stop eating and ovulate fairly quickly. But that's been my experience. Like I said, I don't have near the experience that Chris does with emeralds. But
Chris, are you food cycling your emeralds?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I fast them for a few months, and I've been increasing that fasting period, you know, a little bit, you know, a few extra weeks basically every year, as I've just basically become more comfortable with it. You know what I mean? Because at first it's scary. It's like, oh shit, the snake's gonna go, you know, 8 weeks without food. But in reality, it's like it's not a problem at all. And so I've just gotten more comfortable with it every year and gone a little longer. And then, but I follow pretty much similar to what Ryan's saying as far as like I just feed them, you know, a little more frequently, basically, in kind of the standard size meals that I would. And then once I start seeing something that's showing me that she's, you know, got heavy follicular development, then I'll hit, you know, usually I don't immediately hit with a huge meal, but I'll usually hit them with start increasing the size a little bit, and then you know, hit them with a couple. I feed occasional jumbo rats, to where I think it would probably scare the shit out of most people feeding an emerald a meal that big. But they never really have a problem with it, and you know, I've definitely seen it where it's like one or two. I've never seen it. I guess I've never just perfectly timed it to where it's like, all right, you know, I give that guarantee this one meal is absolutely going to trigger an ovulation. It seems more so it's like once they've got enough food in them, whether it was one particular huge meal or maybe 2 or 3 meals back to back that were pretty good size, then that sends them over the edge. So, and I've been curious about that.
Food cycling?
Well, I usually stop feeding them basically, you know, right around November 1st. And then I'll start feeding them again sometime either February or March. Like I said, I've been kind of pushing it farther. Unless I'm pairing them and I'm seeing, the only other thing I do is if I'm pairing them, and because I start usually pairing them around December, you know, mid-December, late December. If I start seeing a lot of activity with them breeding really heavily, I might just go ahead and start feeding her sooner than you know, I originally had planned to. Again, it's just kind of all based on behavior, because they all seem to be on their own cycles to some degree. So I, you know, a lot of it's just really just kind of watching what she's doing, and they'll usually show you, you know what I mean? You'll see females that aren't normally super active or always exhibiting hunting behavior, and it's like every night they're hunting, and they're showing you that kind of, you know, telltale signs that they're looking to increase food intake. And so then I'll give it to them.
Yeah, you literally just gave that's like the best advice, man. Don't go into your breeding season with a plan that you have to stick to. Because
that's
you're
exactly,
going to screw it up if you know,
if it's too rigid.
Tell you what they want.
Yeah, if it's too rigid, it's not going to work out. And well, I mean, maybe it will. It might, but that's the thing. It's just a maybe. It might work out. It might not. But if it's too rigid, as far as your timing and your planning. And that kind of applies to everything, even with pairing them. It's like if you're dead set on putting these two snakes together and you put them together and they don't do a damn thing, for weeks or months, and there just seems to be no compatibility there, or one of them, immediately if a male grounds himself and he's terrified of that female, or she dissed him so hard he lost all confidence and went under the paper or something, who knows, whatever it is, like, you got to be ready to kind of think like, all right, well, maybe I try a different male, or put a completely different kind of project together, and that'll increase the chance of success.
Yeah, just wait. Sometimes it's too early.
And waiting is exactly another thing. Just patience is the big thing. I think a lot of people don't have with it. Is it's just like, all right, if just because they're not doing something right now, it doesn't guarantee they're not going to go this year. They might just, you might. I've put pairs together that really did maybe one lock or sometimes no locks for like a solid 2 months, and then all of a sudden they're going.
Yeah, it's a good point you bring that up, because a lot of people will keep switching shit up because they're not seeing action, or they'll like continuously try different things where, like, dude, just give the snake some time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like let it really figure out when it wants to go, and then it'll go, and it just happens on the snake's terms, not like when we want it. Another good piece of advice that you just dropped, Chris, is like, you can't go in really with like the plan that you have, because it's not really up to you. Like, you could go obviously with like a plan when you want to pair, but there's no saying when shit's going to take, when things are going to be interested. It's really nothing. It's no guarantee with anything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like I said, have a plan that you have your preferences, but accept the fact that that's not necessarily going to be what happens.
Have a plan to plan.
You can go into it. If the pair doesn't want to breed, male doesn't want to breed, female doesn't want to breed, they might be good breeders the next year, but it's just not their year this year. It's just, I mean, that often happens. I've had males where I'm like, I don't think this thing's ever going to breed, and then the next year it's the best breeding snake you ever had. Yeah. So it's just sometimes they just do what they want to do. They go when they're ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. And as much as we'd love to be able to totally control that, you can influence at best. Beyond that, it's good luck.
I'm sure. Like Marshall, you probably like paired a female chondro the first year, and the second she smells the male, she just opens her cloaca, runs around, pees all over, wants nothing to do with him, and then it's like, oh yeah, well, I guess we'll see you next year. Like, you're just not, maybe she's 4 years old and you think she's big enough.
No, it's time to take the perches out.
Oh yeah. Has that worked? Has that worked pretty well for you? I can't remember if I think you did bring that up before. You just take
a couple times.
So you just basically shoot your trap in there.
Marshall needs a Me Too movement for his chondro.
Jesus Christ,
dude! Wow. No, I mean, let's talk about that, Marshall. So that just obviously makes them have to be next to each other in a sense, right? Because if they're on the ground, they're going to cuddle no matter what, you would say, right?
I mean, it's worked a couple times. It's worked. I mean, I would say it's worked more times than not. But you gotta keep an eye on them, right? I mean, you don't.
But the key is, what does her police statement say? What does her police report say?
I don't remember anything after drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Says I went to Trap Fest and I don't remember nothing the next day.
Hey, don't throw Trap Fest under this, bro. Ain't no Bill Cosby's at Trap Fest, buddy.
I just fucking with you.
No, so yeah, and I'm just curious. So, Chris, with you, I mean, if you have a female, let's say a proven female that isn't going for you the next year, you try to pair her. Do you plan on switching things or shifting things at all for that female, or is everything going to just stay the same?
I mean, I pretty much just keep it the same as far as, I cycle them all basically the same way. Like I said, if I put a pair together, I start fasting them at the same time, and I generally don't start pairing the chondros or the emeralds till like late, mid to late December, unless I see something that's giving me a reason to be like, okay, they should be together. Like if I see, this male's going nuts cruising around, and I see another female that's also cruising around. Because that's something I kind of think I think the females can cruise a little bit looking for the males, at least with the emeralds. I don't know if I've really observed that with the chondros as much, but if I see a pair in particular where it's like, why is that female, you know, going around a lot and this male looks like he's losing his mind, and I wasn't planning to pair them for weeks, then I'll just go ahead and put them together. Because again, they're showing signs of it's at least worth a try, and that doesn't always guaranteed work, but a lot of times, you know, you'll see activity from that.
What's your thought process with me getting ovulations December, January? Because that's like completely different than when you get your stuff, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, you I can't remember now when you cycled them. How far were they into like the fasting period when you put them together?
So I didn't feed them at all from like mid-September to like November. So about a month and a half. So
you're already doing that earlier than I do.
Yeah, I shut their food off about mid-September, and then it's about, I would say about, I think like about 2 months. Yeah, about like mid-November is when I start feeding her again. And so that's when I do that.
Yeah, just a different. I mean, I haven't really tried doing it at that time of the year yet. I mean, the ones that I just put together, that pair, this is the latest I've started pairing, so we'll see what they do. I had already, you know, that female I had been feeding, but not like crazy heavy. But I did notice that she, you know, again, she was getting that look to her, you know, where she's clearly developing follicles. She's laying a little funny, so I'm like, all right, well, I wasn't really planning to pair her, but let me go ahead and try anyways. And they locked up right away. I can't help but wonder if, you know, it's like, I'm curious about this. Is every female just basically on a completely, you know, their own individual, somewhat random schedule, or is it that, you know, some of them are very much like seasonal and they're pretty strict with that? And is that like an inborn thing? You know, this particular female is going to go generally this time almost every season. I definitely don't have enough experience to know for sure if that's the case, but yeah, because I mean, you hear about emeralds and chondros, it seems like, being born kind of all around the year.
Yeah, especially chondros. People all year round, people have their seasons. You know what I mean? And even with Garrick, Garrick from House of Blue, he's in LA, and I feel like, you know, he has a unique time of year where he gets all his stuff. So I really feel like the collection is used to how it's being fed, how it's being, you know, brought up, you know, and if there's ever type of a season dip with the food cycle and everything else, then it's going to happen, I guess. But, you know, here's another thing too. Shout out to Mark Bailey. Mark Bailey like told me how, like, you know, you don't really need to breed all year round. You could let these snakes know there's a season, and it might take time, but you could let them know when that food's coming, when it's not coming, and all that shit, which triggers everything to realize, you know, hey, I could breed right now if I want. You know, the thing is, for that to happen, it takes time. Like, it can't be on your terms. It has to be whenever they want to do it, you know?
Yeah,
so that's,
and I think
what it is.
You see, like, I mean, by doing it seasonally, I think you see more consistency overall, for sure, doing that way. If you're, like, Ryan, you said, like, you basically temp and food cycle pretty much the same time every year. So I'm sure you overall see pretty consistent behavior. But there's always those outliers where it's like, okay, well, this one's not following any of my rules for whatever reason. And what exactly that is, I don't know, because it's like, if it's a temperature influence thing, is that just the fact that, like, well, this one's at the lower left corner of the room and it's, you know, however many degrees cooler, and it started kind of getting cooler before the other ones did or later than they did? You know, all these little small factors like that might be an influence. I don't know.
It's tons of that. Well, you also have, like, with a collection like mine with so many different species from all over the place, I've noticed that I was really focusing on trying to breed Indo species, and it came at the expense of, I wasn't very good at producing Australian species anymore. The feed them during the cooling and not during the summer, that's the opposite of, like, what some of the Southern Australian stuff wants. And so now I'm having to do both. I have to feed the Australian stuff during the summer and not during the winter, and the Indo stuff the opposite, to try to get good results from both. And so it's actually kind of a balancing act to figure out what each thing wants, all within the guise of what you're doing. So even though the cold cycle or the temperature fluctuations happens at the same time regardless every year, how I feed each thing throughout the year can vary individually.
I don't know how you do it, Ryan. That's all I'm gonna say. Like
that's a much more complicated situation.
To have that much going on and you're successful at it is beyond me. It's fucking. I'm glad you're.
Well, I mean, I could be, like I said, there's stuff like for whatever reason, everybody says roughies are easy to breed. I can't breed those things to save my life.
Oh, so that's not on your resume yet? You haven't bred rough scales?
No.
Dude, you got to get that on.
Oh wow.
Jesus. So I've been trying.
Get that one.
Marshall, have you done it, Marshall? You have done it, right?
No.
Bill has.
Roughies? No.
Oh, good. Phew, I was ready to go hang myself. Thanks for answering no. I don't know if I can take another person breeding them before me.
Bill's bred them once, but he hasn't been able to get them to breed ever since. So I mean, obviously there's something going on with them. They're not as straightforward as you think. So how many rough scales do you have, Ryan? Do you have any, or how many do you have?
I have a couple, two, just a pair.
How old are they?
Shit, they're probably like 10 now.
Damn. And you've had them for a
I've
while?
been trying for like 4 or 5 years, and she gets big follicles, goes off feed, acts like she's gonna go, and then she does that for a month and a half, and then just one day she wants to eat again, and then she goes into shed and it's over. So just.
What do you think that could just be an issue with that female, like that specific female, more so than anything you're doing incorrect?
I don't know. I felt like the timing. I felt the last 2 years, the timing of when she went off food was a lot closer to what I would have expected, and that was with me switching back to feeding her differently. So I feel like I'm making some progress, but I'm just not quite there yet. And I've kept the male pretty tiny, and I don't know if that affects her wanting to breed. He does copulate with her, but he's pretty small. So I'm going to give him a little bit more food and see if maybe she just wants a more, manly man.
You've only used the same male?
Have you tried like different times of the year and switched it up?
Yeah, she's pretty consistent. Like sometimes she'll start. Well, I guess it depends. If I feed her during the summer and don't feed her during the cycle, then I just feed her a couple times. She'll usually go off food. If I feed her during the cycle, she seems like she stops eating sooner. And then the timing's off because the temps are still being fluctuated quite a bit. So I feel like I made a little progress the last 2 years, edging it closer to where it should be, but not there yet. So,
damn.
Is it worth maybe trying to cohab them year round?
I don't know. They, when they're down to breed, they breed. When they not, they don't sport fuck. That's for sure. He doesn't. He doesn't hit her unless there's something going on. So
yeah,
he's pretty good at telling you if she's doing anything, because you can put them together for a month and zero interest, and then all of a sudden it's on like Donkey Kong, and then it just peters out. So we'll see.
Who knows?
You keep them in the same area with all the chondros? Like, is all that in the same part of the room, Ryan, or is that separate?
Yeah, in that room the chondros are all around the higher point. And she's one level below that. But.
Yeah, and you had 3 chondro clutches this year?
Yeah, I had 1 Aru clutch and 2 Manok clutches.
Let's talk about the layout. How did it go establishing each clutch? Any of them kind of give you a run for your money? Was it pretty straightforward this year?
The 2 Manok clutches both ate their first meals pretty good. The second and third meals have been kind of a pain in the ass. I'm trying to get arts and gizzards, and some of them are taking to it and some of them aren't. So we'll see how that goes. The Arus have been a little more picky this year. I don't know. I usually haven't had trouble with them, but this clutch seems to be living up to the old adage about them being a pain.
I got humbled last year because I had a bunch eat on the first go, and I'm all chipper going into the next feeding. Fuck, more than half of them didn't want nothing to do with it. And I was like, what the fuck? What happened to last week? I'm so confused. And because I thought it was like a one and done deal like ball python. It's like, well, cool, you're good to go. No, that's not the case. I don't think you're good until like the 3rd or 4th, like in a row. Like,
It's worse when they take that first one and then don't do anything after that. That pisses me off.
It's such a pain in the ass.
I could have had another. I was trying to get a 4th clutch of Manox, but the female was like totally ready to go, but I refused to throw. I wanted the certain male to father the eggs, and he had never bred before and wasn't showing any interest. And so, kind of on your earlier topic, sometimes you just have to throw a season if you want a particular pair to go. And that male just wouldn't breed. She had huge follicles, was sitting upside down, trying to eat, if I walked anywhere near. And if I'd have thrown my red male in there, man, I'd have had a clutch for sure. But I wanted that high white male to breed, and he just wouldn't do anything. And then finally, she kind of was losing interest, and then he finally started breeding a couple times. But it was totally too late. But I feel like at least now I feel confident he'll get with the program next year. So sometimes, you just have to burn a season if you really want a particular pairing and both parties aren't cooperating. A lot of the times it's nothing you can do. It just is what it is until you can get them on the same page. And I think you were kind of in that situation. Didn't you end up with a multiple paternity clutch or something, MJ?
You talking about the Monocory Biak outcross clutch?
Yeah, because you had a male in there and didn't do anything, so you threw another one in there.
Yeah, no. So I put the Monocory in there first because my initial plan was to make outcrosses, and so I wanted to. That was my plan, and so the first night I put him in there, he went to town on her, and it was great. And then a whole week and a half goes by, and just doesn't want nothing to do with her. And I give him a break. I put him back in, and he just acted like he wanted nothing to do with her. So I gave him another couple weeks together. Not really, and mind you, she's on the lowest level. So, I mean, I wasn't checking every day. I mean, there could have been times he was maybe getting it in, but from anytime I was checking, I only saw action once. And then I put the Biak, my red dominant male, in there, and he fucking he went ballistic on her for over a month and a half, and then she ovulated. So the fact that I saw so much action from them two, I thought, oh, he got the job done, and that's why I was so confident about there being 0 yellows, because he's by the way, I have this shed. I have a shed for you to send, Ryan. I know he's a red dominant for sure because of the amount of eggs that he sired before, all red. So to yellow neonates. So anyway, so yeah, that threw me off, but also I'm fucking pretty neat looking, even though you don't agree, Ryan. But I fucking really happy I got that outcome. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
I'm surprised Ryan didn't use the word hybrid for that whole talk. I thought he was just waiting to correct you and go hybrid, not outcross.
I'm surprised he didn't call them fucking retards or fucking
mud or something. Yeah, mud or something.
Fucking short buses. He says short buses a lot in the comments. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's when you're talking about emeralds. Emeralds and Bolins are the short bus snakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even think chondro or designers get that privilege to be called short buses. They're worse than a short bus in Ryan's world for sure.
They're not below for sure.
Abomination.
It's just not my jam, It's just not my thing. I don't know.
We know.
You guys all hate yellows. I don't even understand that.
Not me. I do. I love yellows.
It's pretty easy to argue.
I love the worst.
Superior,
I love the worst of the worst. I love the yellow Biaks. Those are the lowliest scumbags on the totem pole in the chondro world. That's the worst of the worst, right? I love them. Yeah. But I was gonna ask on the thing when you were talking about. So you put the one male in, and he seemed to go. They locked up that first night. A lot of activity. Everything looked promise, and then he acted done. And then you put this second male in, and he was going to town on her. Now, did you have other males that were nearby you were doing multiple pairings all at the same time, right?
Oh yeah, I had a bunch of shit going on. Yeah,
I think that I can't help but wonder if sometimes you'll see activity, like maybe that first male knew he did his deed. The first, he done his thing. He was done. And then that second male, I wonder if there's a competition or some kind of social aspect of this where they'll try to breed regardless, because I had something this year with the emerald that I hadn't seen before, and of course I'm just speculation. I don't know for sure if it's what it is, but so far whenever I had bred them, I really just had the two main males that have sired all the litters, and I would put, I've always just do 1-to-1. I haven't done any multiple males to a single female yet, and usually what I've always seen is the males, they seem to know when they've done their thing, the female's going to ovulate. They're done, and they'll do the last lock anywhere from a few days to a few weeks before she ovulates, and then that's it. And there's that clear, they just lose all interest. They're done.
I would agree, but I would say Big Dick, the one who sired my one and only pure B at Clutch, dude, he was locking her when she was ovulating. Like,
yeah, well,
I was like, what? But maybe he was more on the sport fucking side of things at that point. Maybe he was because Suge Knight is a great breeder, dude. Like, he goes to fucking town, and I think maybe he was even competing with himself, even though he got the job done. He was like, I still want to tap this, but he was legit. I have a picture of her literally going in her swell, and he's trying to lock her.
Yeah. I had for the first time I had a male that locked after a female ovulated, and I never saw that. I thought for sure I would never see that, and he was trying to lock her after she ovulated. Yeah. But there was he was in real close proximity to another male who was actively breeding at that time, and I wondered if maybe it's like a competitive thing, some kind of social interactive thing where he's like, well, I'm gonna get her again. Who knows what he's thinking. But it was just interesting to see that because I could have swore that would never really occur. And
I mean, a guy's a guy.
It made me question if she had even. Then it made me second guess. I'm like, well, maybe she didn't ovulate yet or whatever. But she clearly had, and she had the POS at the right time and is due in a little over a month. So, but I was surprised to see that. And I've also wondered that if that's why some males will take a year off or kind of be shy with the introduction of a new male into the area, or if one male, like maybe they have some kind of social order where it's, I don't know if they literally think like, well, I'm going to take a step back and let this male have his moment or what they do. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of social situation going on there where they sense each other and they're either competing or taking a step back to
yeah, I was gonna say, I think we all have our breeders we know that are fucking great breeders, and then we have our breeders that are just like, all right, they've done the job, but they're just more like hit or miss. And I just feel like some things are just meant to breed on this earth, and some things are just less is more. I don't know. I just feel like for guys, man, there's gonna be some horn fucking dogs like in a snake somewhere where they just want to fuck nonstop. You know what I mean?
There's some of the males that it's like it doesn't seem to matter. They don't
matter. Yeah. But I will tell you, some of those males, they are seasonal. Like, they'll go to a point where they're just like, all right, I'm over it. And they don't want, like, Suge Knight's like that. He'll breed to where, like, he just doesn't want it no more. And then once that happens, he needs a few weeks off because he's not going to want nothing at that point. So there's some of them I just feel like are funny like that. Right? And it could be the amount of males in the room, too. Like, it could be a lot of things. And I do know they are aware of their surroundings. I feel like they're that smell and shit, like it.
Yeah, they're got to be picking everything up from each other, and I mean, there's got to be some degree of competitive influence there. How significant it is, I don't know. I mean, it's more certainly more complex than I can
think about
understand.
how faint the smell is in the wild. When they find each other, and we've got like 30 of them.
Yeah, we got them all bunched up. Yeah, and then
chondros
who knows what happens?
Too. Like they'll tear each other up. So I've wondered that when I'm trying to breed, like the male I had problems with this year, he didn't start breeding till all the other males basically stopped. And I wonder if he was like, oh, well, now I don't smell these dominant males, going after these females. So maybe I feel more comfortable going after her. And I really wonder if, they can smell there's big boys around and they're like, no, they're going to be with those boys. And they're going to come kick my ass. So.
Yeah, that's what and I wonder that the first time I saw that I had a Biak male that I brought into the room, and the one Aru male at the time had been a great breeder for I think 2 years in a row, or at least had been a heavy breeder for that 1 year. And then it was like it's all I could trace it to was like he showed zero interest that season, and I'm like, what the hell? What happened? And the only variable it seemed to be was like, well, there's a new male, a new fairly like it was a young male, but it was like a high strung, pretty kind of aggressive male Biak, and he ended up breeding, and he did his thing. So it made me think like, well, maybe that's what it was. Maybe he was intimidated by sensing the new male in there. Who knows? But I've definitely seen behavior like that to where it seems like that's what's going on.
I've definitely seen them fuck each other up, that's for sure, and it's not fun. I've had to rip them apart once. It's teeth flying everywhere.
Two males or male and female? I've had male and female chondro fights.
Two females.
Oh, two females. Okay, yeah.
But it was all because there was food in the room. Like this is back in the day, like, and I had them in Target tubs, fucking on top of my ball python rack with a towel over them, and I was feeding the ball pythons, And sure enough, they wrapped each other because of the food, but they fucking do. They was to the I remember staring at them for a few seconds thinking like, they'll figure it out. And then I saw one of the things going limp, and I was like, no! And so
and you got to intervene.
I went in there, and I was like, and dude, I'll never forget how tight it was. Like this fucking bigger. It was.
Yeah, you can.
Dude, it was like no.
Well, I
was
did
like,
that with 10-foot popwind pythons. If you think doing chondros is fun.
I mean, I've had pop ones. I know their strength. I can't imagine adult breeding pair. No way. That's fucking. I had let go of my pop ones right when they were ready to breed, but they would just do that. You know, when I would take them out, they would do that initial wrap around my arm and just fucking tight. And I'm like, oh my god, relax, please relax. And my Barnecks used to do that. My Barnecks would do that too, but they would release quicker. But the pop ones, like I hated that because I felt like they were on edge about something, and I'm just like, fuck, dude.
That's just how they are.
Yeah, dude. Fuck, man.
So if you're
male
clutch,
chondros
MJ,
will like slash each other up, right?
They can.
yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna say, Ryan?
On your clutch, MJ, are you confident you got babies from both males? Like, do you think you can tell which babies? You can't tell.
I don't think both. I mean, because you do have some that have just a normal looking BAC to them, but like they also with time, like you're seeing this black come in, and it's different. It's like because on monoquaries, like their diamonds are tighter. Like it's a tighter, it's more together versus like BACs are more spread out. So I could see a mix of both. The only one that throws me off is surprise, surprise, the fucking yellow. Don't know what I'm looking at. But the reds give me an idea of like, okay, I could definitely see the influence on here and there. Definitely.
So you think the male that fucked once was the sired all the babies?
100%. Yes. I feel like. I could be wrong, but yeah. I don't know. But I also feel like could be possibly a dual sire clutch maybe as well. I mean, I want to give them time. Like I said, there's a couple of them that just kind of, the more you stare at them, like, that could just be a BAC. Like, who knows? But
yeah.
But also I'm looking at the tails, and remind me, okay, BACs when they are produced, they have a black tail right off the back, or is it white and clear? Is it kind of the white and clear look at the very tip of each BAC? I thought it was always black.
I've only ever had one Azuria clutch, and or two, and I think I don't think they were black. I think the black came in
later. Okay, what about you, Ryan? What have you seen? Or not, Chris? What have you seen?
I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure mine were all dark right off the bat. Maybe not super black, but I think they were all dark.
I'm gonna go back.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
The
I've had shit
tails
luck with
are like
chondros the last few years.
purpley.
Now I'm having to jog my memory.
Okay, so yeah, I'm glad you said that. Every single one of these tails are like light. It's like a white purplish like tint at the very tip. It's not black at all. It's all like, it's like something you see like on a nice, but like on a nice designer. Like it's that like sparkly purplish white color at the tip of the tail. So another thing that made me realize, okay, and I showed Patrick that too, and he's like, oh yeah, those are crosses for sure. But he also said you could easily have a dual clutch situation happening.
Yeah,
well.
I would be surprised if that other male bred her so much. If that other one fathered all the babies, I'd be really surprised.
And I've been told with ball pythons, it's typically the last male who locks is what gets the job done, typically. And so, again, that's why I thought Suge Knight, hands down, got the job done. But here's another thing we got to consider, right? 11 eggs, only 2 yellows. So that's crazy that I would get 9 reds and only 2 yellows, when typically when a situation like that happens, it should be like closer to 50-50, you would say, right? Or is it?
Yeah, that's why I bet you probably have pure Biok babies and hybrids in the same clutch.
Wow, that's interesting, huh, Ryan?
Well,
Ryan's like, not trading for one of those.
I was gonna say, Ryan, you want one?
Fuck no.
Free food for something else, right?
Well,
feed it off to something else.
Azuria is my least favorite chondro anyways, so that's my...
Wait, remind me, Azuria's BAC?
Yeah.
And that's your least favorite? You know what? I want to talk about this right now. I love this guy. I love this guy to death, and I respect his view on things, but he hit me in the heart the other day. Brandon Wheeler doesn't like BACs, wants nothing to do with BACs. And I'm like, what? he's like, and then he sent me a picture of a certain breeder who has amazing stuff, but he's like, yeah, what do you think of that snake? I'm like, it's okay, it's decent. He's like, that's ugly. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want yellow splotches. And I'm like, dude, I've never wanted to reach over in a phone and strangle Brandon my entire life. I love Brandon. Like he's the best. But he's just keeping it real. And I didn't know he had these feelings about BX. And I'm like, Brandon, I was like, I'm gonna make you regret everything you're saying one day. But I respect his outlook on it. And now I'm hearing that's your least favorite, Ryan. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, from sheer wow factor, some of the half changed ones are pretty badass. But I don't know. Maybe it's just most of mine are pretty nasty, aggressive. So you get tired of that. But
at least a locality friend of mine respects me. Called me a real green tree keeper because I love BX. So that's cool. What do you have to say to that, Ryan?
Well, hey, look, if you know, I can respect anybody who likes chondros, but how they're supposed to be.
All right, let's stop talking about locality stuff. We're losing Marshall. He's falling asleep. Okay, I want to go back and
y'all
ask.
Y'all are glitching out so bad on me. I'm like 10 seconds behind.
Well, dude,
Oh, shit.
that sounds like a personal problem, Marshall.
How many beers have you had,
I'm gonna
Marshall?
try to get on my hotspot here.
Yeah, log off and come back
Just
on,
two.
please. Just two. All right, listen. I want to go back because I want to ask you. Okay, you said the first two chondro clutches was a breeze feeding wise, or I'm sorry, remind me the trials.
The first feeding was easy. Pinkies, they all took the pinks. I think it was 8 out of 9 and 12 out of 14 took the first pink, but trying to switch them to the next food item. And then even after waiting, they didn't want to eat pinks again. But I tried feeding them quicker than I normally would. And I think that's where I screwed up. I should have just waited and not even tried to feed them. But
How sooner did you try?
I was like, I don't know, a week and a half after they shed.
Wow.
I should have waited like a month and then just been done with it.
Dude, I don't see. That sounds interesting. Like, it doesn't sound like a bad idea because these little bastards, if they're snappy, they're going to be hungry in a month. 100%. Damn, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I think they're not fully formed, man. I think we try to feed them too fast, and then they still have all that yolk. And then I think when they eat that first meal too soon, sometimes they're just like, "Oh, I'm good. I don't need to eat."
What do you think about that, Chris?
It's definitely interesting because I've had it happen with chondros and emeralds where they'll take the first meal and then they don't want shit to do with food for another few weeks or
like the one I sent you.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had that with my own. I've had that. I was thinking about that. I've had like a fairly low percentage of true pain in the ass feeder emeralds. It's been maybe 10% or less. I think because I've produced I think the number 67 babies, and there's been about 6 or 7 of them, maybe 8 of them that were like real deal pains in the ass where it's like it's taken forever. And then eventually they'll kick in. But it's taken a year in some cases, where it's like a full year of assist feeding or more before. And then, I had one that took, I think, about a year and a half. And then now it slams perfectly every time.
Talk about Marshall's basin that he sent you.
Yeah. Yeah. So the situation with that. So first night that I got it, I think it was the first night. Got it to take a meal. It was a huge pain in the ass. It took about 20, 30, 40 minutes or whatever to get it to take.
Hold on. Okay, I got to ask you because my theory with a chondro, like you go that long, I feel like you're never going to get anywhere. You should just stop and reset. But you've done this multiple times where you've tried and it eventually took. I want to know your tactic. Like what were you doing? I'm curious.
Well, so what I was doing, I basically had, the perch in one hand and, trying to kind of tease feed it. And not being real aggressive with it, just kind of poking at it, agitating a little bit, trying to get a response. And, it's doing the typical runner thing. It's just cruising, not like freaking out, but just cruising, wants nothing to do with it. Okay. And I just kind of keep prodding at it, little by little, and then getting a little bit more of a response. But what I would do is just let it, instead of like just immediately putting it away, I just basically kept rotating the perch and letting it kind of crawl around, thinking it's going somewhere else. And then eventually started getting a little bit of aggression out of it, got a couple strikes, and I'm like, all right, I'm making progress here. And I think it was about 30 or 40 minutes in. I'll set it down for like a few minutes at a time. That's not just the whole time prodding at it. but just kind of staying consistent. And then it was around that 30 or 40-minute mark, it just all of a sudden whipped around, and I'm like, shit, I think it's going to take it. Put it in front. Sure enough, grabbed it proper, like a proper badass grab and wrap, and then even ate it really fast rather than do the thing that some of them do where they like,
Sit
look
there.
at it and
Yeah,
just
with
either
it.
take forever or they're kind of like they don't know what they're doing. They'll play with it before they finally eat it. And so I was like, well, shit. So then I let you know. I was like, yeah, took that first meal, like, took a while, but it took it.
Wrap up? What was it?
No, it was a hopper mouse, frozen thawed, or maybe a small adult, maybe, I can't remember offhand. And then it took the second one, pretty much the same kind of situation where took a long time, but it eventually took it, and again struck it, wrap it, ate it. And then the last 2 meals I've had to assist feed because it just wouldn't. Either I didn't have, maybe I just didn't have enough patience, whatever. But it just didn't. It was not responding that same way.
Yeah.
And I've noticed though it's an easy assist feed. So like it's like it seems it almost I was kind of thinking about this is like it almost like it's if you look at the feeding process in a compartmentalized way where they have the initial kind of like confidence and actual response and hunt. And then they grab, and then there's the, grabbing it and wrapping it, actually killing the prey item. And then, figuring it out, swallowing it, starting to swallow. It's like they don't understand the first part of it, or the first few compartments. Because this snake, if once I put put a prey item in its mouth and just let it go, it almost always will start eating it pretty quickly. It's like it gets that part. It just doesn't get the first few parts of the process. And I'm MJ with yours.
This is the second time that's happened where I've had snakes that I've had for 6 months, 8 months, nothing, sent them, and person I sent them to got them to eat on the first night.
Yeah. There's something that, I think something about the shipping process, something, that disorients them and seems to be able to flip that food response switch in either direction, either turns it off or turns it on for them. Yeah. And, I wish that was something you could just push. It'd be nice if you could just push that switch when you wanted to. But yeah, and then MJ with yours, it was he's just been a runner so far the whole time.
Damn, dude, crazy.
But I'm sure it'll come around. I mean, like I've had a few that were like that, where they're either runners or they're just inconsistent. You know what I mean? They'll take sometimes and they don't want a meal for the next 1 or 2, and then they'll go back and forth. And then with time, they almost, with a few exceptions, they eventually always get with the program. And then it's like you would never know they had that history of being a pain in the ass. Yeah. And I don't know exactly what it is. I've of course wondered, various theories on what it might be. And
have you tried live at all since you've had it?
Yeah, I've tried live. And I've tried both like a fast moving kind of hyper little hopper, and then a barely moving fuzzy, and he just intimidated by both of them.
Not quail yet though, right? You haven't tried quail?
No, I haven't tried quail yet. I'm gonna try that. I do have some frozen thawed quail I'll try, and I haven't tried. I should try scenting with like hamster fur as well. I don't have any actual small enough. I don't have small enough frozen thawed hamsters to actually try that, but I do have some larger ones I could take some of the fur off and give that a try. Because I've had a few adult emeralds that didn't want anything to do with mice or rats, but go crazy for hamsters.
Yeah, that's Steve Volk's go-to.
Yeah, I've heard that he'll use those, and I remember back in the day the Siberian dwarf hamsters we used to use.
That's what he uses. Yeah.
Yep, we'd get stubborn ball pythons to take when they wouldn't want anything else. They would take those, and it seemed, and I've fed some of those hamsters at the chondros as well, and they all seem to love it. There's something about the scent of it. They definitely seem a little extra excited about that scent. So I'll give that a try next probably and see. I just did an assist feed for them a few days ago, so when I do the next feeding, I'll always try what I want them to be on first. But if I get no response, then I'll probably the next day try a hamster scented one or something. See what you get. But it's always worth seeing because I'm sure you guys have all had that experience where that snake that's been a total pain in the ass for weeks or months, and you don't do anything really particularly different. You just offer it again, and for whatever reason, that day's the magical day, and it takes it and starts running from there.
It's like the sieve that I had to it. I remember we were talking about doing this for a while, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
I opened the tub, and it looked hungry, fed it. it took 2 or 3 meals and then went off feed again, and then I found it just rolled on me.
Shit, yeah, and
one of
oh, go ahead.
One of my northern babies that I produced 2 years ago wouldn't eat mice for anything, and occasionally you could get her to eat like a rat pinky, and then she really would start eating, or I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, but she would eat brained rat pinkies fairly consistently, but it wasn't like a sure thing.
Yeah.
And then and she's like 2 years old now, or a year and a half, 2 years, and just the other day, the last 2 times she's taken mice, like she's been eating mice her whole life, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just like, and I'm like, who are you? You've been a pain in the ass for a year and a half, 2 years, and now all of a sudden you're eating like your sibling. It's just like, what happened to you?
That's what it's so frustrating. I wish I understood what it was that changes with them, because I've had the exact same thing. I've had a few of them, because I've had relatively low percentage that were true pains in the ass that went beyond a normal length of time to start to get going. And I think just about all of them eventually kicked in, but it's been, in some cases, a year and a half. I think the longest one I had was about a year and a half that I was at the point where I'm just like, this is, and it was a real pain, like one of those ones where you assist feed it and it wants to fight you, and it doesn't want anything to do with it. And then all of a sudden one time I'm just like, well, let me just try a frozen thawed, of all things, frozen thawed mouse. Slammed it like it had always wanted to do that. Never missed a meal since.
Yeah,
and now it's like it's coming out. It's as soon as it knows it's time to food, it's excited, it's pumped up, and it's like, wasted the first 18 months of your life. Why couldn't you just get with the program right out of the gate?
I never assist fed this one. It ate just enough to where it was like, okay. But the babies that were born a year later, like, they're almost as big as you are. Like, you're falling behind here. And then all of a sudden, it's now the last 2 months, it seems like it wants to eat like it's been eating great its whole life. So hopefully it keeps it up.
I don't know if you guys heard me mention, I had one snake like on its like last prolapse fucking run that I've been feeding chicken gizzards to. I think it had like maybe 8 chicken gizzard meals and shit and no prolapse. And then I said, fuck it. It was right after Trap Fest. Who did I? Oh, Garrick. Garrick was here, and I told him the situation. He's like, brother, stop feeding it gizzards. Just give it a fucking mice. He's like, it's either meant to be here or it's not meant to be here. And I was like, you know what? You're right, dude. Gave it a small fuzzy, and it fucking prolapsed. And put that bastard straight in the freezer. It's not meant to be here. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. What I found interesting about that is how small he was, or that it was.
Yes, and so that was
the other.
Yes, right. And so I was showing you guys this. Only 30 days. I went 30 days without feeding it, and holy shit, it was completely like half the size of its siblings. You know what I mean? And I couldn't believe like how far back just going 30 days will take a fucking neonate, because this thing was eating great. Like, it didn't really miss meals until it prolapsed, and then I finally gave it a 30-day break, and holy shit, it like stunted the growth. It's crazy. But
the ones I've gotten to eat gizzards, they still don't take, their poo is still not like when you feed them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, if you feed them mouse legs, they take a turd that looks like an adult turd, but in microscopic. Right. But the gizzard still, I don't feel like is as good as the mouse leg, as far as the result.
Just because you think it's missing the bone and everything.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but when there's still like a ring of moisture around it, and it's kind of blobby and still doesn't look that great. But man, when you give them legs, it's like they take an adult, perfectly formed urate in the front, turd in the back. Like it's so I'm probably gonna not. The only thing I like about the gizzard, you can make them bigger, whereas the legs, once they get to a certain size, you just have to start giving them a couple legs, which just takes more time.
I'm gonna use the gizzard as a supplement to just get the fucker to eat, because if it's being stubborn, I'll try the gizzard. But I agree with what you said, Ryan. Having a mouse leg is going to be a lot more nutritional, and only because I'm going off how it shits. Because I will say this, those 8 meals that snake ate, gizzard wise, never really showed me a real shit. Like, it would shit, but it wasn't it wasn't brown. Like, it was like it was urates. So it would give me the urates, but it would give me like a gooey, like non looking
It's
shit.
not a properly formed.
Yeah, it wasn't a. But the snake looked fine though too, mind you. Like the snake looked good. Like the snake didn't look like it was deteriorating. It just looked like it was holding on to a majority of whatever it was eating. But as soon as I gave it something with fur and a little bit of a skull or whatever the fuck else was in that fuzzy, but I think I maybe could have hit it a little bit. I gave it I remember feeding it. I'm like, dude, this is a lot bigger than what it's been eating, and I almost felt like I gave it a death sentence because. Like, come on, like that. This was a little bit too big. So now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have. What would have been a more like suitable thing would giving it a mouse leg and seeing how it digests a mouse leg and going from there, because that's not too big of a meal. But you know, it's either going to be able to handle that mouse leg or it's not. But I don't know. Who fucking knows?
It's hard to say. I know.
Yeah,
Ed
last year I fed some
mentioned-
hearts and I didn't notice. I didn't think that it was as bad, but I fed some gizzards this year and I was like, that turd doesn't look that much better than a pinky turd. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna just go back to the legs.
What were you gonna say, Chris?
I was just gonna say, I know with the emeralds, I know Ed has mentioned that, you know, if an emerald's been fed really small meals for a long time, that you don't want to hit it with a huge meal.
Yeah.
You know, right off the bat. That's more so the concern over like a, you know, one-off regurg with an emerald or something. But I could see where maybe you get the same potential with a prolapse. But there's always this, you know, prolapse. We still don't know exactly, you know, what exactly the problem there is. Are some of the animals, you know, is it like a birth defect almost in the gut or somewhere in the digestive tract where they're just more, you know, they're just kind of naturally prone to it. Is it a dehydration thing? Is it all of the above? It's always kind of hard to say.
I think they're just struggling to evacuate that nasty goo more than anything.
Yeah, but then you see some of them still do it with pretty solid meals, right?
Yeah. No.
I've been lucky. I don't have much experience with prolapse, thankfully, so far at least.
No,
I had. That now. Watch my next clutch of chondros be a.
I had three.
Mess,
I had 3 of the snakes last year in the same clutch that were like 12 meals deep, and they fucking prolapsed.
What did were they still eating pinkies or fuzzies or?
They were on fuzzies at that point. They were already eating fuzzies. They were already like well into eating something with fur, and these were also eating button quail. Like these were ones I was like smashing right off the beginning. You know. So yeah, and that's the only thing that if people like ask me, oh MJ, like you got a lot of workload on your plate. Yeah, I get it, but want to know what really fucking I'm not really looking forward to seeing is the amount of prolapses I could potentially get with all these fucking babies that I have. That's what's really like I'm trying to figure that out. Like what the fuck's gonna happen this year with that, you know, more than anything. But also, I will tell you this: one of the bonehead moves that I feel like I made. Not that this is gonna really determine the outcome of my prolapses, but I didn't realize every time I was fucking feeding them, I was thawing out the rodents and soak them in tap water, and but also was giving them fresh, filtered water to drink. So I don't know how much that really contradicted things. I don't know. All I know this year going into it, I got Bill's fucking kettle warmer fucking thing that I got on Amazon, which I don't know how that works yet. Ryan, once I do, I'll let you know the review on that.
I bought one.
Oh, are you using it?
Use it. It freaking cooks the food. Like it literally, I put gizzards in there to warm it up, and after a couple minutes, it was cooked. I was like, what the hell? I wasn't looking to cook it. I just was trying to keep it warm.
No, I think you got to take it off the kettle. Like once it gets super hot, you take it off and let it like chill for a little bit, and then you don't leave. You don't leave it.
It straight up cooked it. I could have eaten the damn livers or the gizzards.
Fucking gross, dude. No, yeah. That's funny.
The water quality topic though is an interesting one, MJ, as far as, you know, even just thawing them out like that, maybe it's something to consider. Because if everything else seems right, then you know, maybe.
And I forgot somebody also mentioned too, like what was that rodent drinking? Like for instance, like what's the mom and dad or whatever the rodents you're breeding, what water are they drinking? Could that tap water filter into like whatever the fuck as well? Like, should I consider giving my goddamn rats fucking filtered water? Like, I don't know. Like, how far?
I mean, it's probably best for all of them. You know, you know, I think generally with any of the things that we're feeding to the reptiles, the better their diet and water quality and everything. You know, obviously that's going to be the best route to go. But then at the same time, you always have to wonder, well, why are only some of these having problems with it? And
because some have to have sensitivity, maybe. Like, I feel like maybe some just don't have the guts, like literally, to like process whatever minerals or whatever the fuck's in it, whichever. Because you got weaklings out of the, just like in humans, you got some humans with some immune system problems and stuff like that, and that just need special care. Maybe these neonates just can't handle tap water at all. Period. Like, and if they do, they're going to have some sort of internal issues. I don't know. Because
what about the milk inside the pinkies? Like, most animals can't process dairy. That's literally a thing. Once you're weaned, you can't. And they would basically never be eating anything, in their life that was full of milk like that.
No milk in a gecko. I'm just saying.
So I wonder if you took pinkies away from their mom and like let them sit in a deli cup overnight or something till they used up all that, because you've seen a pinky where it looks like it's 50% milk, and if you cleared that out and then gave it to the snake, if it would be better for it than one full of milk.
I didn't even offer pinkies last year. I literally only offered what was it? Well, I don't want to say just geckos either. Well, I guess there was a couple that did eat pinkies, but I switched to fucking button quail as soon as I can. I think whatever did eat pinkies had like 3 or 4 pinkies, and then it went to button quail pretty immediately. And also, all my pinkies came from a guy who bred their own. These weren't my pinkies, but still, like, he could have easily pulled them from the mom and just killed them and put them down. So. But I feel like no matter what, a pinky's going to have milk in it, right? Like, how are you going to get a pinky without milk?
You let it digest.
Well, you take a live pinky, set it away from its mom for long enough, and it's going to metabolize all the milk and then have no milk in its system.
Okay, that's a good idea. So whatever I pull, give it like a day or two to like just be by on its own in a different tub and then put them down, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's a thought. Like I said, it might make no difference. There's a lot of evidence about lactose intolerance in animals that we're not supposed to have milk once we, reach maturity, and they're not eating anything with milk,
All I know is I see a fucking snake spirit meme coming up with milk and emeralds.
I'm already thinking. I'm like, I got to start cracking some jokes on this shit. No, I think it's something valid to consider, and it's different. I think that's different than the gluten topic because you're talking about neonate snakes specifically, and consuming something that they wouldn't consume at all in the wild. I mean, these things
okay, think about it. If you take a pinky and look at it, what percentage of the weight of that pinky is that mother's milk? If you pull it at the right time, you've seen them. They're just a blown up sack of milk with a tiny bit of, there's just, I don't know. That's not something that a baby chondro is ever going to be consuming in the wild.
But then there's always this question though: how come some of them are totally fine with it?
Well, I think it's like everything, and it's never a situation where it's bad for everybody.
I guess to be more specific is, would you consider it to be that some of them have like a birth defect, like they're or like a an underdeveloped, because that's maybe it's a developmental thing, like the gut's not fully developed, and that's why they can't handle it, and some of the other ones can, or it's probably not. Or is it an enzyme thing? I don't know.
Lactose intolerance in people.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you also have a situation where not every pinky is going to have as much in it.
True.
So you're feeding. I mean, I've got a colony of rodents. When you go pull all the pinkies, some of them are full of milk, and some of them are barely struggling to compete. And so maybe you, on accident, you're giving certain ones bigger pinkies that are full of more milk, and they have issues. And some, look, you can do things wrong, and it's only going to affect a small percentage of the population no matter what. So just we feed pinkies, we're just trying to figure out how do you get the ones that, how do you minimize it? And feeding them other things, they're fine, pretty much. When you're not feeding them animals that are neonates, basically, other than fully formed animals, they're fine. It's clearly a baby issue eating things they're not supposed to eat.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah, period. Because they're
You'd
not.
be
Go ahead, Chris.
Ryan, you'd be the perfect person because you've bred so many other species. Like,
Yeah.
do we see that issue with other python species having prolapse issues from that start on pinkies?
Yeah.
Or is
well,
this
like,
primarily
okay.
because it seems like you hear? I've always wondered that. Like, I just don't recall hearing a whole lot about prolapsing outside of the chondro.
Well, you basically
community.
have chondros are almost they're basic. If you take Antarisa genus out of it, chondros are the smallest pythons.
Yeah.
So most other pythons you're not feeding pinkies to.
Or pink. I
You're
should.
feeding-
Yeah, pinkies and fuzzies. I mean, like still.
Yeah, the
still
vast
relatively
majority
small
most
mice.
pythons hatch big enough to eat something with hair and a little more skeletal development. Now
Yeah.
Antarisa, they will have crappy poos eating pinkies just like chondros do. For whatever reason, maybe it's gravity, they're not hanging off a perch so their guts don't fall out. I don't know, maybe they have a physiologically they're just built differently.
Yeah.
But
But you've never
A
had
lot
one
of variables
prolapse?
there.
I've had Antarisa prolapse.
Okay.
Nothing, like it's
The neonates or
I've had
adults?
hundreds babies.
Babies. Okay.
I mean, it's rare. It's not common, but like it is with chondros. But they definitely crap like a chondro when you feed them pinkies.
Same kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, we got to think of this too. We've had multiple people on this show who've had multiple clutches, been doing this for multiple years, and claim they've had 0 prolapses. I'm pretty sure Garrick from the House of Blues is one of those people, and he's hatched a shit ton of babies. Okay, so there's got to be something.
I was probably 7 clutches in before I ever had an issue.
But the issue came somehow. That's what I'm saying. What brought the issue? What's the issue? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just it's. I think if we were feeding them, let's put it this way: if we were feeding them baby lizards or adult lizards that were tiny, I guarantee you, 99.9% of this nobody would even know what a chondro prolapse in a baby was.
I fucking agree.
And probably
I
it'd
totally
be
agree.
like, what? The baby chondro didn't eat? What the hell? Like it'd be like
Yeah.
a strange
And-
occurrence rather than the common occurrence. You know?
We don't know
Yeah.
that. We don't know this about baby chondros in the wild, but I'm a true believer that a baby chondro, like, it doesn't have a certain day of the week it eats. It eats when it fucking could eat. So I feel like some of these babies eat multiple geckos in a serving sometimes if they can.
Probably. Well, I mean, it's one example, but I know Matt Somerville mentioned that a couple years ago. I think he observed them slamming geckos like not
They
geckos. I'm
have
sorry,
to
big
grow, dude.
skinks.
They
Like
have to grow.
they were slamming them like every few days.
Dude, they have to grow because I'm telling you, I had this one neonate that just would only eat geckos, and because I was like, God damn, don't eat all my geckos, I was only giving it once a week, and it just wasn't growing, like it wasn't taking off. And until I started like bumping shit up, and once I get it on fuzzies, it started growing, but I realized like the whole gecko thing just wasn't like taking off. But mind you, I kept giving it day-old geckos. Like now I'm raising them up. I got some sizes on these motherfuckers now. But I'm a huge believer that these little neonates, if they eat a small gecko and it's not enough, what's stopping them from eating more? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No,
I
they're
think
going to
Patrick
eat
put
as
in
often
skinks.
as they
I don't know if
possibly can.
Yeah, if I said geckos, I meant to say skinks because they're not. I mean, they probably occasionally catch some geckos, but I think it seems to be
little lizards. Okay, that's what we're talking about.
Seems to be pretty specifically skinks, at least from everything we've heard so far. But yeah, I mean, they respond from what you've said, and I know from Kenny's experience and Vin's experience and everything. It seems like they respond really well to geckos as well, which makes sense. They're certainly not eating what we offer them, and they're certainly not getting frozen thawed shit handed to them. So.
I mean,
yeah,
right.
it's that's an interesting kind of subject as if there will ever be a point in herpetoculture where, feeding, having captive bred feeder lizards will be more accepted and more commonplace, at scale.
Ryan, once you actually touch down to where the condos are at, the first fucking picture you sent us was a picture of a skink. And you told me they were everywhere. And so let's be real. If these things are everywhere, the fuck, what are they eating? Maybe. And
Yeah,
also,
but here's the other thing, though. The vast majority of the skinks I saw could have been eaten by a baby chondro, but it would have been a freaking massive meal. It's not like you're perfectly sized, this little tiny day old gecko. They don't get a grocery store. They get whatever comes to them, and they're going to eat big meals. Most of the time, it's going to be a huge meal. So the idea that they're eating that huge meal and then 5 minutes later catching another skink and eating it, I don't believe that's the case. I think they're going to eat that thing. They're going to go digest it. If that takes 3 days and they take a crap, then they're back to hunting. And if they're lucky enough, fortunate enough, they eat another one 3 days later. But it might be 2 weeks. It could be 2 months. It just depends. They're not going to turn it down. But they're not getting appropriately sized food that we would in captivity. They're going to get stuff way too big. There's probably animals that die trying to eat their first meal because they try to eat a skink that ends up, killing them in the process.
Dude, one of the most common, when I worked at a wholesaler, one of the most common things I would see was cannibalism with a group of baby snakes where one tried to eat the other one way bigger than it could have ever consumed and dies in the process. Patrick, I'm sure, I had the same thing.
A lady locally had some Candoya carinata Indo-tree-boas born, and they're tiny. They make a chondro look like a big baby. And I fed those things. I ordered some live anoles to feed them. And I got some anoles, and I was like, this is way too big, but this is literally all I had. And I fed those anoles to them, and they choked those things down and burned through them like remarkably fast. But when I ran out of anoles and it was winter, I couldn't get them anymore. I tried force feeding all those babies, and every single one of them died the first time I force fed it. And it was like, and you're like, I'm feeding you a tail that's nowhere near the size of an anole I've seen you eat. And somehow they're fine eating this giant anole that's, probably weighed 10 times more than they did. And they ate that just fine. But when you
think it was the stress of the assist feeding that did it?
Yeah, it's probably that. Most of the time they regurgitated it up and died. And I don't know, you would think, oh, it was too big, but it's clearly not too big because I saw them eat things that were just insanely large.
Yeah, baby snakes, I mean, they seem to handle. I've been feeding kind of this year in particular. I've been feeding pretty damn massive meals to the emeralds.
Yeah.
And
dude, fuck yeah.
I mean, they see. I should sit here and actually record the length of time and kind of compare it, but I swear when you feed them a big ass meal, they pass it through faster. They burn it faster.
Physiologically, eating is very tough on snakes. People don't realize that, but it's not good for them to be in a constant state of digestion. Yeah. And I think we way too often.
I think throwing a whole schedule out the window is good. Like kind of just feeding them accordingly. I think I asked you that on the last episode, Chris. Like, is there a specific time you should be feeding these babies? And it could. I feel like a week, 10 days, 2 weeks. Like I feel like giving it that
I sometimes will wait 3-4 weeks before I give them another meal, just depending on. I mean, it's a combination of what they, whether they've defecated since the last meal, and then whether I have time to get to those, to get to them that day or whatever. And then sometimes I'll just be like, I'm just gonna wait another, 5-7 days before feeding them again. And it seems to work well to just do it pretty sporadically like that. But I know that's hard to do depending on the size of your collection and your personal life and your schedule and stuff in general. So it can be a little bit tricky. There's been times where I've realized I'm like, shit, I went a full month without giving that one another meal. And there's also there's also the thing that does seem to have some truth to it as well. That I think Eugene says that it's like they grow when you don't feed them. That's like when you see growth. I wonder sometimes if they do maybe kind of make more and assimilate a meal and kind of make the most of it when they're not getting fed as frequently.
Yeah,
but it's always
when I went to Indo. Before I went to Indo, I didn't feed for 2 weeks the baby chondros because I didn't want any of them to prolapse while I was gone. Yeah. And I was gone for 2 weeks, so I didn't feed them right when I got home. They went like 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. No problem, no issues.
And these were brand new babies, or babies that had already been.
I think they were probably just starting to eat fuzzies.
I got to ask you, Ryan. Okay, let's kind of like when has there been a time where you waited the amount that you normally wait to offer a baby Neo its first meal, and they don't take it? how quickly do they tank after that since it's been 30 days? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I've had them go, shit. I think I had one go like 3 or 4 months without eating before it finally ate its first meal.
But you were assist feeding it during that time, right?
No.
Oh, what? So you literally let it go 4 months and then it finally ate?
Yeah. They don't have to eat, man. Everybody freaks out. Now, certain babies, if they didn't get a very good yolk, maybe. But
so that had
I'll
to
tell
be a
you
big
this.
healthy.
It's gonna,
being.
it would be real specific on the individual.
Yeah, and I will tell you this: if you start force feeding them, then the clock's ticking.
Yeah.
Once you put that first meal in there, the clock is ticking. You can't go that long after they start eating.
And why
Once
is that?
it's-
Can you explain the
I
reason?
don't know if it's some physiological thing that changes their metabolism or what, but I can tell you across the board with pythons, when they start eating, once they have the first meal, you have to keep them eating. You can't then all of a sudden, to a point, like once they're a few months old and they've got a little bit of fat reserves, then they can. But I'm talking after that first meal, if they don't keep eating, you're on the clock. So if you force feed them, you can't just go, oh, well, now I'm going to wait 3 months. No, that snake will be dead.
Yeah, you got to keep it consistent.
Once you start force feeding them, you're in it. You're in the thick of it.
And I hate hearing all these options. Really fucking.
And I know I'm just for you, MJ. You're sitting here. It's like you got 2 more clutch. You're gonna be
Well, it's
up,
like
to,
I
your,
got 30,
up to your
I got-
ass and baby chondros here. So
I got
you
30. I got 36. They're about.
nightmares.
I got 36. They're about to shed. So do I fucking feed right after they shed? Do I wait fucking 30 days like Ryan does? Oh man, this is gnarly. I'm gonna.
I think you just do what you're going to do, and some will eat and
Yeah.
some won't, and just don't necessarily freak out about it.
That's the big thing. Yeah, learning to just not totally freak out unless there's something to freak out about. If the snakes looks like it's rapidly going downhill and crashing, then try to do something about it. But as long as they're looking okay, that's definitely one of those things I've repeated myself multiple times saying this before. But compared to back in the day, the mentality of how often they have to eat and how critical it is, I still hear people say stuff like that sometimes now, and I understand it where it's like, oh, I don't want the snake to go 4 weeks without a meal or 6 weeks, or in particular with like gravid emeralds, people are really panicking about, if they go a few weeks or a few months without food. It's like if that's a healthy animal, it's going to be absolutely fine. Perfectly fine.
Socrates waits 2 weeks. He waits. He does, and lately he's had not lately, but when the last success he's had with his clutches eating have been fucking 100% all around across the board. And he's a true believer, like not offering right away is a huge fucking ticket to like getting them to eat on the first go.
I think Ed does similar
2
with
weeks.
his.
2 weeks after shed.
After shed, yeah.
I'll just challenge you this. Just look at just look at the snake when they first have their first shed. And if you have some that don't eat right away, just look at how much their body changes, their head fills out even if they don't eat for like a month. They change a lot. Even with no food, their body, you can see they get bigger, their body characteristics, the head fills out, the lobes fill out. I really sometimes wonder if putting that food in there too fast is just retarding that process.
Yeah, maybe we're underestimating how much work that yolk's doing when they're out of the egg. Like you said, maybe that yolk is developing things in them to the point where putting food in them is not going to really it's almost fucking up the process in a sense. Maybe, maybe.
Well, I mean that yolk is literally a hole through their body, and you're telling me in 3 weeks that's perfectly healed, and now you can jam huge meals into them. I don't know.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Marshall said it. So don't fucking look at me.
Well, I mean, I see guys that try to feed them before they even shed, and it's like, man, what are you doing? Like, that's just, I don't know. I've not had good luck. Usually, if they start eating too fast, then the second, the third, the fourth meal are just a pain in the ass. Whereas if I'm patient and I just wait, when they start eating, they usually just keep eating.
And then what the argument with that is people who like to try to get them to eat pre-shed will fucking preach that they become monsters if they eat pre-shed. Like that, like supposedly they grow even faster if you could get them to eat before their first shed. Mind you, this is coming from the people who say they that's why they do that. So
What do you? I mean, okay, but what's the goal here? What are you trying to? So you want a huge? It's a tiny snake. It's not supposed to get big. So when it's 3 years old, you're 2 years old. You want it to be as big as a snake that should be 10 years old to be that big. Like, what is the goal? What advantage is that providing, other than to make you feel good about yourself? Because it's not doing any good other than that.
yeah, it's just a little sick.
I'll the only thing I'll counter that with is that if I could see, and I don't personally do that, but I guess the only advantage is that if that was working consistently, if feeding them before the shed got them established faster to where the digestive system was kind of on point and stabilized, and they're taking meals and they're rocking and rolling, then the sooner the better that happens, of course, would be ideal. But I'm the same way. I've tried, I think with my first couple chondro clutches, I tried feeding some of them, before the first shed, and I did have a couple of snakes that ate, but it seemed no different in my experience anyways, granted very limited. It didn't seem to have any real advantage to it. I had at least one of them that ate pre-shed, then was a pain in the ass after that, and one of them maybe just continued, but I didn't see any major advantage to it. And I don't know. Yeah, as far as the size thing, if you're not, you're gonna need to slow down at some point and get them to keep them from being a big obese, piece of crap.
Yeah, well, that's what I wonder. Like, what's your ultimate end game? If you're so concerned about getting them so fast, or getting them so big so fast, what does that do for you? Because it's really all the work in biology suggests the faster you raise stuff, it's not necessarily better for them. In most cases, they argue against that. It's detrimental. So what is the
to me it sounds stressful as fuck, and I'm okay. I rather just waiting. I prefer, but also what gets in my head is like, that snake must be starving, but maybe it's not. Like I said, this is really, I like what we're talking about right now because it does make sense. Give the snake a little bit of time to develop, because that's what it's doing. Like, we all know the snake, like, we wait for that first shed, and then that second or third shed, that's when we like showing that snake off, because it's like it's plump, and so, but I don't know. I think it's just, maybe it's all in our head, I guess. That's kind of what the whole reason is behind of like, let's hurry up and see if this thing's going to eat, because I want to know what kind of thing it's going to be, or eater it's going to be. But I feel like doing that is just you're playing a ruthless game of like stressing the fucking shit out of that snake if it doesn't want to eat pre-first shed. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Sometimes it's not detrimental at all. Obviously, there's plenty of people that do it and it's fine. But I just question. I think it's just for us. We do it for us, most of these things. We want the babies to eat because it's stressful when they don't. We want them to keep eating. We freak out when they don't do what we want them to do. And it has nothing to do with their well-being, if we're being honest. It has to do with our mental well-being.
Oh, yeah. That's a big, probably pretty tough pill for a lot of people to swallow about the hobby in general, is how much of this stuff is all about us. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I've always said
everything
the reason
from cage design to feeding to everything. It's how much of that is really just for what we want and what we think is the right thing to do, and the snake either doesn't give two shits about it or is potentially negatively impacted by our actions in that way. Lighting is something I feel like that with the lighting issue, at least with super bright lights. Particularly, I guess, to clarify that, with inescapable bright light.
Yeah,
we
then the
give
snake
too
looks
many
the other way.
Oh yeah, well, I think most people would probably, because I don't use any kind of external lighting on any of mine anymore, and it's because
I stopped doing it years ago.
Yeah, it's like I really noticed it taking them outside, and it's like if you are taking any of my emeralds, if I have that, if they're assuming they're being calm and they're not already trying to get away or whatever, if it's calm, if I have it under the shade, it'll remain calm. As soon as that bright light hits their eyes, they immediately want to get out of it. They don't like that shit. They don't want that inescapable, pounding. And I'm sure it makes them feel vulnerable. And then I see people put them in cages where, I saw one recently where it's like a bank of cages of young emeralds. Yeah. And it's like being, portrayed as like, oh, they love this new setup and this is so natural, and this is so great, and there's bright ass LEDs in each one of those cages. Every single one of those snakes is as far away from that LED as it possibly can get. Every single one of them. What is that?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, being over in the rainforest, when you're under the canopy, it is not bright, and it's not warm. It's actually way cooler than you would think it is.
Yeah, you just get little pockets.
Second you walk out into the sun, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. And so I have a feeling those snakes feel that way too. Like,
yeah,
they're doing their best to avoid that.
I mean, I think snakes in general by heart want to avoid anything, and being like lit up with the light is like fucking the exact opposite of avoiding. Like you're getting the spotlight on you, and so I personally don't think. I think they'd rather have the lights off for sure. You know.
I think it's just if you're gonna it needs to be provided in a way to where they can get completely away from it.
Put plants, exactly.
Yeah, like so that they can choose if they want to go under it or not. But I think they're I mean, I at least what I've seen here with the emeralds, they get the natural sunspot that comes in through the windows, and they don't want anything to do with it until they're gravid and they're cooking babies. That's the only time they make use of it.
I can't help but to think when I see like an emerald or a chondro in an empty enclosure with a bright light but nothing else, I'm like, dude, it's like an insane asylum or like a fucking like you have this thing in a padded fucking like room ready to go ballistic or something.
It's got to be insanely stressful.
It has to.
Well, you can use that instinct against them, so to speak. Like I literally have all my chondro cages are actually like 6 feet off the ground. They're kind of above my head.
Okay.
And they're narrow and deep. And if the chondros hung out in the back of the cages, it would be actually relatively hard for me to see them that good. So I built the cages where there's a big screen opening in the back, and there's a big lip in the front. And 85% of the time, they hang out right up against the front of the cage, underneath that lip. And so I literally made the cages knowing that that's where they're going to hang out. So I can see them better.
Yeah. And smart. Yeah, and you can see the behavior from them.
So what? The lip just gives them some cover.
Yeah, because the perches are at an angle front to back, not side to side, and then the big opening for the vent is towards the back. And most of the time, they will sit under the 6 or 8 inch lip in the front, where they're not underneath the screen, and they think they're hiding, like under a leaf or whatever they perceive that to be. But
listen, we got to get to this wrap up topic, okay? This was the whole title is because Marshall wanted this title.
I saw the title, I'm like, holy shit, what am I getting myself into? Agreeing to come on here, we're gonna talk about
Marshall wanted an awareness episode on this topic tonight, so we're gonna cover it. I'm just kidding. No, okay, here's the thing. Backstory. Shout out to Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike was just in the comments, but Uncle Mike, all Monitor Talk every Saturday. He had Matt Kosman on the show, and Matt was talking about his experience using the jelly water beads as a substrate in the egg box, apparently causing some sort of neurological damage to the monitor, and noticing that they're coming out all fucked up. And so I mentioned something on my story, and I was like, dude, you got to check out this episode, guys, because I don't really know much of it. First time I ever heard it. So want to ask your guys' take on that, if you ever heard anything about that. And then also to bridge to the next one, shout out to Warren Booth, but he was all on my bumper about like, MJ, if you're going to attack the jelly fucking crystals, you better talk about how bad puppy pads are for substrate. And I'm like, whoa, buddy. Like I use puppy pads. He's like, yeah, well, they're not good. And, I want to talk about that as well and what you guys have to say about that. So, Chris, why don't we start with you? Because we kind of already got warmed up on this topic before the show started. What have you heard about? Well, we'll start with the jelly crystals, and of that substrate, right?
Yeah, I've never used them, so I don't have any experience with them. I've certainly seen posts about it, and I thought, well, that's something to consider for incubation at some point with chondro eggs. But I have zero experience using them, so I can't speak on anything directly. But I watched that episode where they discussed it, and it made sense. I was a little fuzzy because I was distracted while listening to it, but wasn't it? There's basically 2 versions of this chemical that's used in the product. One is non-toxic, one is extremely toxic, And in this case, that toxic version got mixed in, or maybe that was all of the water crystals were contained that toxic chemical. And so that was, confirmed through testing that that's basically, without a shadow of a doubt, was causing the neurological behavior and ultimately death of those animals, those monitors that were hatching out in there.
Right.
You could see where maybe that could happen, where you get not necessarily a full batch of it that's got the toxin in it, but it's mixed in was something they were mentioned. All that made sense to me. Like, that could totally see where that's a possibility. I've also wondered about that, if that's a possibility with vermiculite and
Perlite?
perlite.
Yeah.
If there's a possibility of something toxic in there, and that's why you get snakes that come out and then die within a few hours. We're making it worse for them because we need to restrict the ventilation to keep that high humidity, so they're probably getting hit with an even higher dose. Maybe it wouldn't be as problematic if they were completely open air.
Yeah. The only time I heard someone not having success using vermiculite or perlite was when it wasn't organic. Like, it was.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you're something mixed in that you don't know what's in there for sure. I know. Another example. Like, I know what's his name, Bo Wrong again uses the Miracle Grow potting soil for all of his animals, and he seems to have some interesting problems over there. But I don't know for sure if that's what that is.
Stuff in it, right?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Why would you want that? Why would you want fertilizer?
Yeah, it is.
So
we won't go in that
I guess I'm like, I don't even know what this shit is we're talking about. Is it like the water crystals, like the shit they made for water and crickets or something?
Yeah, it's yes.
Pretty much.
So what? Okay, are they marketing it for incubating reptile eggs?
No,
no,
I don't
not
believe
at all.
so.
Okay. Not at all.
Because I'm like, I mean, call me crazy, but why the hell would you even want to use it in the first place?
Good fucking question. I saw it as like, okay, this will keep from splashing in like water, but then I'm like, that's why I use perlite. Like, I don't.
Right,
I think that was
we got 50 years of herpetoculture history with perlite and vermiculite.
Yeah,
why on God's green earth would you make some man-made chemical bullshit and try to put eggs in it?
That makes
I think the idea was the primary argument for those is just the no sloshing.
I think so. Yeah.
Is that pretty much it? Because I don't remember if there was any other purported benefit.
It was the safe.
I mean, that's what I ask myself: is like, why would you even? Well, if you've got this track record of these amazing, long proven, commodities, why would you? I mean, I'm all for reinventing the wheel if the wheel isn't working, but the wheel's working. Like,
yeah.
Why would you? I don't know. Call me crazy, but why would you put why would you put eggs in a man-made, chemical infused product? I just don't. I don't know. Seems counterproductive. So.
I think I don't know. I blame the Me Too movement. That's it.
All right, so that's as far as the Orbeez and all that stuff I have. That's all I know about that. So at
the end of the day, don't use it, right? We would all say, don't fucking use that shit, right? And like, if a friend were to ask you, hey, should I use this with my chondro eggs that I just got? What would we all say? Marshall, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say no at this point for sure.
Say no.
Ryan?
I'd say fuck no. Why the hell would you bother trying that?
Okay, now let's get to the puppy pad part. Okay, what about
this?
The puppy pads. Okay, and now Chris, you said you also heard rumors of this puppy pads not being too ideal for a reptile. Well, what did you hear?
What is it about? Is there stuff in the puppy pads between the white and the blue layer?
Apparently, there's the stuff that absorbs or the stuff that's there to keep the moisture in. It has some sort of chemical, like in the clothing or like inside the actual pad. Apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was different. So the main thing that I heard people talking about, because again, back in the day, I don't remember anybody ever using puppy pads. It was always newspaper or basically newspaper or cypress mulch was almost everything. But or paper towel. But so getting back into it and seeing a lot of the chondro guys using puppy pads, I remember just a few people warning about to just make sure to get ones that don't have the odorant, like the attractant chemical added to it that that tries to attract the dogs to piss specifically on the pad. And some of them are unscented, some of them or some of them do or don't have that chemical. I always question whether that's always, again, it could be like the water crystals things where that they're all made at the same plant, and you might get a bag that does have the attractant in it. That was the main chemical I thought was the main problematic thing, but it wouldn't totally shock me if there is potential issues with the the odor absorbent layer of the pad. So I just don't have any. I've not seen any problems from it yet. That, or at least nothing that I was like suspicious of the pads being a problem. The big problem with the pads that I've always had is just the occasional time where they snag a tooth on it and either start to swallow it or I don't think I've ever had one actually swallow it.
I've ripped half a puppy pad out of an emerald's mouth multiple times and it didn't die. Just for the record, what were we gonna say, Ryan?
Again, I don't know why the hell those ever became popular. I mean, aren't they expensive as hell compared to like a piece of paper?
I totally do. It's well, at least for me, that's not even the humidity element of it. It's just the convenience.
I like
that's the reason I use it.
It's so fun.
You use the puppy pads?
It up. Yeah, I use the puppy pads. I've been using them the whole time. Yeah,
that, man. I just must not have enough money or something. I wouldn't. No way.
They're not crazy. They're not. Yeah, they're not crazy expensive. But it is an expense, and I've wondered. I mean, I don't give a
fuck. Take
you
my
guys
money.
don't have enough snakes.
Yeah,
get some craft paper on a roll, man. Be a fucking man. Use real fucking Earth products.
Dude, how about don't be
He's dogging the shit out of us.
Ryan, don't be a cheapo. Get a
us.
puppy pad, you bastard. How about that? Don't fucking
use a puppy pad. Let me tell you this.
Pad for it takes a shit on it, and I wipe it up and I throw it away and put a new one in there. Why would I want anything else? Why would I spend way more money for some stupid ass puppy
It's so
pad?
nice and tiny to just roll that up, and there's no piss sloshing around, and it's just super convenient.
Oh my god,
it's super
so
convenient.
Nice
I tell you here, I challenge you to this: switch to them for a little bit, because you'd see the benefit as far as the convenience more than we would with the number of snakes you got.
There's no way in hell I would ever use them. No
I'm just fucking
way.
with you. I'm just fucking with you.
How do you even get it to fit the cage appropriately? Do they just have like a bunch of different sizes?
You just fold, you just put it folded or whatever.
Oh, fuck that, dude. I got craft paper in 18-inch, 24-inch, 36-inch. You just bust out what you need. Folding shit and doing all this stuff.
One turn, that thing falls apart.
That's true.
You leave when they shit on a puppy pad, you leave it in there for 6 weeks because the puppy pad doesn't fall apart?
No.
That's gross, dude.
No, for me, like I said, everybody uses them for different reasons. But for me, it's just the fact that I like how convenient it is to clean it up, because when they do take a big shit on it, I can just roll it right up, chuck it, wipe down the bottom of the cage if there's any little bit of spillover, and then that's that. If I've used other paper products like craft paper or newspaper, it never absorbs it all enough, and then there's piss sloshing all over the place.
Spray the bottom of the cage and wipe it off.
Yeah, but you're still spraying the bottom of the cage anyways. It's saving you a tiny, minuscule amount.
I guess. Well, I would argue not as much, because when I've used paper, I guess it depends on how many layers of paper you're using. But if I used 1 or 2 thin layers of paper in a big adult emerald, that's a lot of piss. It's you got to end up adding more.
Man? Get some 70-pound craft paper, man.
Maybe I'm using the wrong shit. Maybe send me a link to the right shit. I'll take you up on it, because I don't absolutely love the puppy pads. And to get back on the original thing, I'm curious about how much of an issue it is as far as the chemical in there. Is it mainly the attractant, or is it just all of them across the board?
It can't be good, whatever it is.
Okay,
I'll give you that. It probably isn't.
But who here could say I lost my snake because of the puppy pads? Nobody. Okay, Bill Stiegel uses nothing but puppy pads. Socrates, all puppy pads. Me, all puppy pads.
Patrick's going in on here. He's in defense of them too.
There's enough people that use them that I don't. Seems like that's. I don't know. I don't.
Okay, well, you're using them for your own convenience, not for the. You're not arguing that it's for their health.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not.
But I'm not saying it's bad for their health either. That's the thing. If it was bad for their health, fuck my convenience. I would use what I feel like is.
Well, it can't be okay. At best, it could be a non-issue. But at worst, it's causing a problem. Whether you'll ever know that that's a problem, you're not going to quantify that. We don't have. Nobody's going to spend the money it would take to send a dead snake in and find out if some chemical from a puppy pad contributed to its death, or the offspring. Maybe some bad offspring that it had or something. But it can't be good.
So how many
I'll totally agree with you. There's probably some risk there involved. I would be curious to hear Warren's thoughts on it if he's. I haven't seen him in the chat, but I'd be curious to know what there is known specifically with a threat to the animals, if there is, because I've considered going it. Like I have some chondros that are like they're they're about 5 years old now, and I keep them in tubs. And I just am substrateless with them. I just have them. I have the bottom is plastic, and I have a big, huge water bowl. And honestly, it's. I mean, I have to soak up piss, obviously, and clean and spray down the bottom of the enclosure, or of the tub rather. But it's hardly much more work than anything else. Other than the puppy pad is a little more convenient, and it's worked well for them. I wouldn't be completely against doing that, switching to just no substrate for all of the adult emeralds as well.
And
craft paper is pretty cheap and holds up pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you get mold bullshit though? Like, do you get any
multiple layers?
Yeah, it doesn't mold over or anything.
No, I mean, I change mine out. I change mine out every week, no matter what. So regardless if there's shit or not on the puppy pad, I switch it out because it will get crusty. Like it will get like.
Oh yeah. You got to change it.
It will get.
Yeah, gross. The paper. If they take a shit and you don't remove it, then it'll get mold on it.
But does it? But just from like if you spill like if you're.
It's not gonna.
Well, like one thing I'll do, I'll for extra humidity, I'll just dump water on the. Usually, whenever I put fresh water in, I'll overfill the bowl a bit on purpose, and then just dump a little bit on the pad. Yeah. If you're doing that with the paper, are you going to be running into issues as far as any molding?
Probably. It takes a while.
If it dries out, no. If you keep it soaking wet all the time, then you probably have a problem.
Yeah, I might
give
it
it's
a try.
Easier to just keep your humidity higher ambient wise than to try to screw around with it cage by cage.
Or it's easier just to use puppy pads.
Okay,
yeah, no, I agree with you.
The puppy pad's whole purpose is to absorb moisture. So pouring moisture on it, I failed to realize.
As far as I'm aware, it releases. It slowly evaporates.
No, from what well, here's the thing. Because I've gone back and forth. Okay, when I was originally puppy pads and I was dealing with a bunch of stuck sheds, humidity problems, I was being told that the puppy pads is keeping that fucking cage from being like having humidity because it sucks all the moisture from being inside. But then also, I heard from it being wet for so long, it releases it back out. So I don't know what.
I think it probably depends on the volume of water on it too. Because I mean, I definitely have had it where I'll pour a ton of water on the pad, and I mean, you could there'll be like a puddle of water on top of the pad.
Yeah.
Beyond what was absorbed. So
all I know is
I'm totally open to the idea of using something different because I don't absolutely love them, but so far out of what I've been playing around with in the last few years, I've tried. I've tried, paper products, mostly just thinner brown paper. I should try some thicker stuff, something a little heftier. And then I've tried newspaper occasionally. I haven't used like any different, heavier duty.
Oh, yeah, newspaper. I don't like the looks
of it.
Newspaper is way too thin.
It's too thin. It's too weak.
But I don't love cypress mulch or
I don't like
COCO either.
I'm good.
I don't like dealing with it if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the 50-pound dimpled paper the best, but 70-pound paper works great.
Okay.
The what? The 50-pound what? I haven't heard of this. The 50-pound dimple paper? It's like, why don't you do? Maybe that's why.
It's got like texture.
Yeah, it's got like a texture to it. So if a snake is sitting on it, they like it better than the flat paper. But it's just craft paper. It comes on a roll. And then you get X amount of feet on a roll, and they base it on the weight of the paper. So 70-pound paper is thicker than 50-pound paper. And I think newspapers like
pre-cut. You can get it pre-cut.
You guys are I'm not wealthy enough apparently.
Well, apparently,
you got too many damn snakes too. It's a whole different ball game. I don't have. I think people misunderstand. I know I talked to one guy recently. He's like, "Oh, I thought you had like 50 adult emeralds." It's like, no, I don't have anywhere near that many of them.
But I keep all my ball pythons are kept on packaging paper I get at Lowe's, and so and that shit works great. I could even just use
look
that
on the package. It'll probably tell you what pound paper that is.
Yeah,
it's probably like 15 pound.
Yeah, but yeah, puppy pads for life. I'm in. That's it.
No, man,
I'm curious now to hear what the specifics from Warren.
Chris, at the end of the day, I don't have stuck sheds on my emeralds anymore. Like whatever I fucking have right now, I'm so happy with. So I'm not gonna change shit. I'm not gonna change nothing.
Oh, well, I mean, that's why I've kept using them. Like I said, I haven't had any real significant problems from them that I, at least nothing that I felt was a problem from them. So they've been working fine, and the convenience is the main factor for me. Just I mean, there's nothing like. I mean, well, that sounds so absurd. It's like a reptile thing. Oh man, there's nothing like cleaning up a big shit in the morning. But it's, if you, but I mean, if you go in and you see a big ass, you see a huge pile from an emerald, and you could just roll that up, toss it, quick clean, the whole thing's done. Especially with the pull-out tray, it's nice. That convenience factor that's the point for me. Because I don't really like the way they look.
No,
they don't look good.
It's all down to the convenience part for us, and that's you're right. There's no argument.
You know who dogs on him a lot? Who says funny shit is Mike Stefani. He calls them diapers. He's like, I don't want a fucking diaper in my cage.
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's the same technology you put on a baby or an old person. It's the same exact tech.
Yeah, I use the incontinence pads a lot of times. I buy those because there's no chance of like an attractant thing, anything additionally put on.
Man, I would have to have like 25 feet of space to store all these different puppy pads, and I'd have to spend like $50 million fucking buying. No way. Forget that.
Walmart has killer.
Well, if you're not, just you don't need them.
Yeah, I already have to buy paper towels by the COVID style.
You don't even know how much they sell fucking pads at the Thrifty Scottman's for. You should see how much puppy pads are being sold there. You might be surprised. You could probably afford it.
They use paper products at Thrifty. I can just tell you that right now.
Well, listen, I'm glad we got these topics in for Marshall. I'm sure he's going to be really happy tonight. So.
Yeah. Glad I could.
He looks stoked out of his mind. He looks stoked out of his mind for that.
I'm glad I saved it for the end. No, but seriously, great time, guys. I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, Chris, before we let you go, why don't you just let people know where they could follow you and throw all your plugs out there, buddy?
Yeah, just Instagram's usually the best. It's Snake Spirit on Instagram, and then I am on Facebook, but I'm horrible about responding to friend requests and all that stuff. So it's pretty much, you may or may not get a response out of me there, and that's pretty much that.
Cool. Ryan, why don't you drop all your plugs, buddy? Where can people follow you?
I guess it's Instagram, Molecular Reptile. I've got molecularreptile.com, and then 2 Facebook pages, either my name, Ryan Young, or Molecular Reptile. Both have a page, so I'm pretty easy to find if you want to.
I got to ask you before we let you go, Ryan, what shows are you vending next? Like, what's on your docket for vending shows?
I don't know if I'm going to do any anymore. I don't know. I'm on the fence.
I didn't even know you were Have you been regularly vending?
I did for decades, but they just.
I meant
there's
recently.
So many shows in the Pacific Northwest now that it's just, and they're all long ways. Oh, I guess I take that back. I will vend the Spokane show because it's, it's just too convenient. It only takes a day. It's not a problem. I don't have to get a hotel or anything.
When's that?
So I'll vend the Spokane show.
When's that show?
September.
Okay. Damn, coming up.
So assuming if I'm in town, I'll vend it. If I was out of town, obviously I wouldn't vend it. But other than that, I'm done. I think I'm done going to Portland and Seattle and all that. I don't know. That's a pain in the ass.
All right, well, guys, do me a favor. Go on Instagram, follow Snake Spirit IG and Molecular Reptiles. Give it up for Ryan Young and Chris Rice, ladies and gentlemen.
Fun, guys. Thanks.
Later, boys. Have a good night. Later, Chris.
Yeah.
Later, Ryan.
Thanks, man.
Take care, y'all.
Good episode. That was fun.
It's good, yeah. Glad we saved that conversation for the last 5 minutes. So.
I almost didn't even cover it. I almost fucking just said I'm just gonna end it tonight, but you know, at the end of the day, I do have interest. I do want to know, you know, and yeah, I guess that no matter what, everyone's gonna have different opinions on things. I feel like if I notice some sort of a decline in my animals by using puppy pads, I just wouldn't use the puppy pads. But I don't have any issues, so I don't know. I guess
I just never realized there was anything besides like, you know, an absorbent paper layer and plastic. I didn't realize there was stuff in between.
Yeah, but you know, here's the thing. Like, one thing I will never do ever again to somebody like Ryan Young is like when he's telling his insight on things. Like, I don't ever, even though if it's something I don't really agree with, I'll never just like put it off. Like, I'm gonna really think about what Ryan says, because he changed everything for me when he told me about the panels, the heat panels. And this is right after I installed everything, and I was all like, I got everything set up, man, and now you're talking shit about my panels. But dude, he was so fucking right, man. Like, he was so on point about the panels. So that's why, like, when you got somebody like, you know, yourself or Ryan, who's been in the game for decades, man, like, no matter if you don't line up to what they're saying or not, you should still let it like marinate and, like, you know, think about it a little bit, you know?
For sure.
So good times. I appreciate it. Marshall, appreciate you. Red Mountain Herps on IG. Go give him a follow, and I'll see you next Tuesday. But give it up for Marshall.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Have a good night.
All right, big dog. Thank you so much. Peace. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Great episode. Shout out to Ryan Young and Chris Rice. Really value those guys' experience. And anytime they come on the show, it's always a banger, man. Of course, Marshall Mendez, the GOAT, you know. So amazing time, guys. Make sure you hit that like button if you guys head out, and hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. Please, really means a lot. Drop a comment in the comment section if you want some free trap merch. I'll pick a random comment in the comment section, and I'll ship you some free trap merch. But yeah, shout out to tonight's sponsors. So before you guys go, you can check out all the sponsors in the description below. And have a good night. I'll see you here Thursday. And yeah. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, and plenty other arboreal snakes have been quite the popularity here at the Trap Talk Reptile Network, which brings me to today's sponsor, the Reptile Perch. Head over to the reptileperch.com and Reptile Perch on Instagram. See what type of design PVC perch is best for your arboreal reptile. But first and foremost, I would also check out David Brom's Green Tree Python availability on the website. And you can also check out his Instagram just to stay current on any projects or any productions that he posts. Thank you so much, David Broms, for your ongoing support. Looking forward to seeing what you have to show in the 2025 season. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram, and also head over to Mark's website, see what he has available Green Tree Python wise, and be ready for quite the 2025 Green Tree Python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the Green Tree Python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the Green Tree Python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the track.